What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 5 Astronomical Units Chapter 111, Auto-Generated Chapter Title, the 11th Chapter Super Potion, Shocking New Life. Seeing Robin stepping out, he even took out a short sword. The middle-aged man's face changed a little, and he seemed to be considering whether he really wanted to agree to the trial drug. But think about what Chelsea said before, whether he succeeds or not, he can get 1,000,000 Pele's money. With this money, even if he dies, it can still be caused by his serious illness. The burdened family improved instantly. You must know that during these years, he has not had any good jobs due to physical reasons, and his wife and children in the family have been dragged down by this. The life is very miserable and poor. Poverty cannot explain the embarrassment of his family. It's really the last meal and not the next. It's the money that the wife has made so hard to get up early and greedy in the dark. As for the child, it's even skinny, but now, he has a chance to get it. 1,000,000 Baileys in cash, and according to Mr. Selzy, if the potion really has that kind of magical effect, all his injuries can be recovered. If it really works, it would be great. The man secretly said in his heart, and then his expression became resolute, and he stood in the center of the VIP room, no longer afraid of the short sword in Robin's hands, and he was cruel and ready to take the knife. Robin was standing in front of the man holding the short sword, still hesitating. Although she had killed people before, they were all operated remotely with fruit power. Now, although she is not a murderer, she needs her hands to seriously injure the person in front of her. This made her a little difficult to start. After all, she was just a teenage girl. Seeing this, Ronan raised his brows and said, "Robin, can you? If it doesn't work, then I will come." "Hey, if Miss Robin can't do it, I can come here." Chelsea on the side was wondering why Robin didn't do it yet. Hearing Ronan's words, she immediately understood that it was the little girl who was a little afraid of doing it, and said immediately, "No, it's okay. I can do it." Robin waved his hand, then took a deep breath, took the short sword directly, and stabbed the middle-aged man in the abdomen. It was a white knife going in and a red knife going out, and then a few more knives. When he screamed, he swiped a few knives on the opponent's arm, back, and even his face. In the end, he was cruel and hit the middle-aged man's heart. Advertisement. The middle-aged man did not expect that the girl in front of him had the last knife stabbed in his heart. If he really died, then the last trace of luck would be gone. After all, this is a fatal heart injury. What kind of shit medicine can save this kind of injury? The middle-aged man cursed secretly at this moment, and no longer resisted the severe pain. He tilted his head, his body became faint and he waited for his death. Selzy and Gerard on the side were also shocked when they saw this. They looked at Robin a little speechlessly. This little girl, who didn't dare to do anything just now, just stabbed someone in the heart. This is the end. Now, what kind of medicine are you trying? People were directly stabbed to death by you. Ronan on the side was smiling, and he threw a bottle of potion to Robin. You are really ruthless. You pierced the heart with a single knife. Give him medicine. For such a serious injury, if it takes a long time, it will be true. It's hard to save. Robin also scratched his head at this moment, feeling that his hand was a little heavy, and then took the potion and poured it into the middle-aged man's mouth. But Selzy and Gerard on the side were dumbfounded. What did they hear just now? What is such a serious injury and it's really hard to save after a long time? Could it be possible that this person's heart has been pierced so that it can be saved? These are the congestion accumulated from years of stubborn illness in the body before, and some blood accumulated by piercing the body and heart just now. Gerard excitedly watched the man vomiting blood, but did not worry at all, but explained. I got up, then looked at the man and asked eagerly, how are you feeling now? Is there anything uncomfortable? After the man woke up, he coughed twice, then spit out some blood with a pop, and there were some blood clots in the blood and stinky congestion. They actually saw that the trauma of this unbelievable man was completely healed within a few minutes, yes, including the wounds on the face, the wounds on the back and the heart, all the traumas were healed. The two looked at the middle-aged man lying on the ground with scorching eyes. As time passed, only a few minutes passed before their eyes became dull. What did they see? Advertisement, puff. Selzy's eyes widened, and he looked at the man on the ground blankly. If it weren't for the gap in his clothes, he thought he had never been injured. I feel myself, as if I'm back at the youngest time more than 10 years ago, so comfortable and smooth. The two looked at each other, and both saw the shocking color in each other's eyes. If this is true, then this kind of medicine is really heaven-defying. As the man was talking, he actually fell to his knees and started crying. It was a newborn cry. The pain he suffered before has passed. Even without the 1,000,000 Baileys, with his current healthy body, it is enough to bring a new life to my family. Oh my god, Gerald and Selzy on the side are almost the same, even more exaggerated, with a hell of expression. Even the whole person has been on the ground, his legs are directly on his knees. On the ground, he kept turning to look at the body of the man on the ground, with an expression of excitement on his face, and even a hell of a ghost in his eyes. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. The man took a deep breath and felt comfortable. The depression in his heart, the tingling of the internal organs, and the feeling of fatigue are gone. Now he is full of strength all over his body. The main thing is that he has recovered for more than 10 years. The feeling of the former peak period. It feels so good, my god, thank you. Thank you adults, I am really good, ooh. Ronan, who was next to him, looked at the two men with hell expressions indifferently, while Robin stood proudly beside Ronan with his head held high, looking like you didn't see it. At this moment, less than 5 minutes after the man drank the medicine, the man suddenly coughed and woke up. It's really good, everything is healed, not only trauma, but also internal injuries, as well as internal injuries that were stabbed by short sword in the abdomen. Gerard probed the man's abdomen. Although he is not a doctor, he is also okay. Understand some superficial medical techniques, and know that the injury in his abdomen is healed, and then put his hand on his heart. Then the heart that had ruptured and stopped beating due to heavy bleeding at this moment resumed beating, even beating. More vigorous and powerful. A potion with such an effect is definitely a life-saving medicine, and no one will refuse to have such a life-saving thing in his body. This, really, really good. Chapter 112 Pricing. A bottle of 50 million Bailey. Mr. Ronan. Celsi looked at Ronan excitedly, her eyes tightly falling on the wooden box on the table. There were 10 bottles of this magical super potion inside. God, hell, there is such a magical potion in the world. Not only Celsi, but Gerard on the side also set his sights on the wooden box. He even had an idea that he wanted to take this medicine as his own, of course not by grabbing it, but he also wanted to buy a bottle of this potion. After all, this super powerful healing potion can save lives. Anyone would want to have such a bottle of collection to use as the last card. No one can guarantee that he will never get hurt for the rest of his life, right? And there is a bottle of this potion in hand. It is really a very powerful hole card, not to mention anything else. Those top powerhouses have this potion in their hands. They definitely dared to use some super powerful tricks to fight against people, because he is not afraid of being seriously injured. Get up now. Ronan glanced at the man who was kneeling and crying. This is a kind of redemption to regain a new life. The man's howling seemed to vent his gloom for many years, and he would be warmly greeted in the future. And Sunshine's new life, the 1 million Bailey's money, Mr. Celsi, first put it up, and it will be deducted from me after the auction. It's okay, right? No problem, Celsi nodded immediately, arranging 1 million Bailey's funds for such a big client. It was not a problem at all. Besides, this is Ronan, dare you not agree? Well, you take him down first. Ronan glanced at the man who had gradually stopped crying and said. Hearing that, Celsi and Gerard took the man down together. They asked each other while walking, and were amazed at the same time, and then took 1 million Baileys and handed them over to each other. The man took 1 million Baileys, and coupled with his fully restored body, he had an unreality of living in a dream, but the sunlight from the sky and the breeze from the pavement made him understand that what he had encountered the matter was true, and then he calmed down his excitement and walked home with money and confidence in life. Celsi and Gerard returned to the VIP room, called the service staff, and cleaned the VIP room. After all, the previous reagents also stained the VIP room with some bloodline. Next, let's talk about the pricing of this healing potion. Ronan said as he handed the wooden box to the other party. I will put 10 bottles of this kind of potion for auction. Do you think it is better to sell together or to auction separately? Good. Of course it's sold separately. Without hesitation, Celsi and Gerald shouted in unison. Advertisement. This kind of precious medicine must be sold separately bottle by bottle in order to maximize the value. Celsi said. If it is a joint auction, there will indeed be some major customers who will buy it, but not to mention that the amount will not be as high as the separate auction, and some people will consciously not buy it and will not participate in the auction. Then the competition will decrease. Isn't the rarer, the more intense the competition? Ronan was a little curious. He did not know much about this aspect, but just ask if you don't understand. There is nothing to be ashamed of. Haha. Celsi and Gerard smiled, and this time Gerard said, Mr. Ronan, your strength is a powerful force. If you want to know, the world is ultimately respected by strength. If some people have their own strength and will not participate in the auction at all, but plan to grab others after the auction. Will this happen after we separate? Robin asked with a frown. Of course not, but when they are auctioned separately, the single price will be higher, but it is also much lower than 10 bottles auctioned together. At the same time, more people will have the opportunity to get it, but it will reduce some people's shots. If it can be done with money, no one wants to offend others, let alone those who can buy this kind of treasure. They are basically powerful figures. Celsi said with a smile. To be honest, he was very disdainful of this so-called healing potion before. He even felt that Ronan had taken out this kind of healing potion only for grandstanding. However, after testing the medicine, this medicine made him and Gerald shocked. This is a real life-saving medicine, a real peerless whole card level medicine. I have far underestimated this Ronan. It is so powerful that he has such a super healing medicine. Regarding pricing, Celsi began to ponder, rubbing his chin, and said, I suggest a bottle of 50 million Baileys. Hiss. This time, it was Ronan and Robin who took the cold breath. The two looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. Ronan didn't expect that. He just thought that some good medicine could be priced at 50 million Baileys. You know, this is just the starting price, he thought before. So, the starting price of a bottle of 1 million Baileys is all right. Unexpectedly, this Celsi is really ruthless, and he directly set the starting price of 50 million Baileys, which scared me to death. As for Robin on the side, she was also full of shock. The starting price of this thing is worth 50 million? Remembering that before, they didn't use this medicine as a valuable item at all, and only used it as some healing medicine. At first glance, this thing is simply too precious. All right, advertisement. Ronan could only nod his head. Since the starting price was given by professionals, there must be a reason, so let's do it. The best one? Ronan couldn't help touching his nose, and looked at the two opposite people speechlessly. The two set the price so high, is anyone really buying it? Is this the third lot? But also, even the super serious injuries that were almost mortal just now can be restored to normal. This medicine is really powerful. Before, I and others just didn't pay attention to it. You must cherish this medicine in the future. Robin secretly said in his heart that Ronan gave each of them some medicines for self-defense before. Basically the normal configuration, 1 bottle of healing medicine, 1 bottle of psychoactive medicine, 1 bottle of physical medicine. As for the longevity medicine, only get all the medicines. Only a crew member approved by the crew can own a bottle and must use it by themselves. They are full of curiosity now, feeling that this third kind is absolutely extraordinary. After all, there are the first 2 jewels in front, how could this third kind be worse? Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. As he said, Ronan reached out and took the small wooden box, and opened the box as he opened his mouth. This last lot should be the best one. The two looked at each other with a smile, and replied, the price will definitely cause looting. Don't worry, we are professionals. At this moment, Selzy and Gerard suddenly turned their eyes to the last small wooden box on the table behind Ronan. The 2 auctions Ronan had brought out before were 2 supreme sharp knives. One is a super potion, so what is the third one? Mr. Ronan. Haha, Mr. Ronan, your potion is so good, a bottle of 50 million Baileys is not high. A bottle of 50 million Bailey, is it a bit too high? In other words, the transaction price is only high and not low. The two of them were shocked and looked at the box opened by Ronan. Chapter 113. Astonished. A medicine that increases lifespan by 100 years? At first glance, the small wooden box still contained a bottle of medicine. Except for the color, the other medicines were no different from the previous treatment medicine. However, at this moment, the two of them have completely lost the disdain that they had when they first saw the healing potion. Instead, they are full of curiosity. Is this another kind of magic potion, or a better healing potion? Thinking of this, Selzy immediately said, Mr. Ronan, is this also a healing potion? Is there only 1 bottle? Is this bottle more effective? No, the effect of that kind of potion just now has been heaven-defying. Even better, Gerald on the side could not help but said, could it be possible to save the dead? If it is really so scary, that would be terrifying. Hearing this, Ronan smiled and shook his head. Unfortunately, this bottle of medicine is not for the treatment of injuries. I can only take out 1 bottle of this medicine to participate in the shooting. It is very precious, even I don't have much. Oh, not a potion to treat injuries? More precious? When the two heard this, they became even more interested, and hurriedly asked, then Mr. Ronan, what kind of medicine is this? This kind of medicine, I call it a longevity medicine. After taking it, it will increase people's lifespan by 100 years. Ronan said lightly the effect of the longevity potion. When the voice fell, Chelsea and Gerard's eyes widened suddenly, completely shocked by Ronan's words. Increase lifespan by 100 years? My goodness, there is still such a potion? 2, it's terrible, can it increase lifespan by 100 years? The two stammered, and even became incoherent. They couldn't believe that there was such a medicine that could increase lifespan, but they had to believe that, after all, this was Ronan's medicine, the previous healing medicine. But it has been verified. What is very remains is that this potion is too precious. I can only take out a bottle to auction, so I can't take out the extra potion to test the medicine. Advertisement. Ronan shook his head and said, this kind of precious potion, really can't be tested at will. Gerard took a deep breath. If the potion in front of him really has the ability to increase the lifespan of 100 years, who would dare to use it to test the medicine, and who would be willing? How much should the price of this medicine be appropriate? Ronan asked the two of them. Very rarely, Selzy and Gerard were speechless. They looked at the longevity potion in the small wooden box and had no idea. They didn't know how to price this heaven-defying potion. It can be said that if this medicine can really increase the lifespan of 100 years, its value will far exceed the 2 previous lots, and even more precious than the 2 combined. Mr. Ronan, can I contact the boss first? I don't think I have the authority to set a price for such a major event. Selzy looked up after pondering. Not bad, Gerard also said, although I am the most senior appraiser in the auction house, I am not qualified to set a price for such a precious lot. Mr. Ronan, can you wait for us to discuss with the boss before setting the price? Woolen cloth? Yes, you can contact your boss first, and I'll wait, Ronan nodded and said. When the two heard this, they got up and left, and went to contact the boss. Ronan. As soon as the two left, Robin immediately said, I didn't expect the healing potions to be so precious. Fortunately, we didn't waste it before. Although the potion is precious, it is not too rare for Ronan. He doesn't want Robin to be reluctant to use the healing potion because of its preciousness. He quickly said, Robin, don't feel reluctant to use something because it is precious. You should use it. Don't hesitate when you're in. The medicine I gave you was originally for use, do you know? Know it. Robin smiled sweetly. Advertisement. After a while, Selzy and Gerard came back, and they said solemnly, Mr. Ronan, we have contacted the boss. The boss is now in New World. He will start the auction. I rushed back before, and at the same time, he will promote this auction at New World. He has found Morgan's and bought a page of the newspaper to promote it. He must make this auction run vigorously. Ronan nodded in satisfaction. Although the owner of the auction house has not seen him yet, he is still full of courage. He is also a figure with a big picture, and then asked. Then, in terms of the pricing of the longevity medicine, any comments? Our boss's opinion is, Selzy said sternly. This time Mr. Ronan's 3 lots will be promoted as the main finale. The longevity medicine is the last lot, and the price is 1 Bailey. What? Only 1 Bailey? Before Ronan spoke, Robin on the side yelled and stared incredulously. Why is that so much money? Is your boss stupid? Only such a precious thing as Bailey? Haha. Selzy smiled softly and said to Robin, Miss Robin, the price is 1 Bailey, but the final transaction price cannot be 1 Bailey. You know, this is a gimmick, this thing is too, it is precious. If the starting price is set high, many people will not come to know that they cannot compete with the top rich. They will attract many people with ultra-low prices, and then the competition will be fierce. In fact, the preciousness of the longevity medicine, everyone knows that it is impossible to be as low as 1 Bailey, and at that time, there will still be high price competition. Ronan certainly understood what the other party meant. He mainly relied on gimmicks to attract the attention of the world, and coupled with the terrifying effect of the longevity potion itself, it would definitely attract the richest people all over the world to compete. Okay, Robin, don't worry, Mr. Selzy makes sense. Ronan smiled and patted Robin on the shoulder, and then stood up and said, since the pricing has been determined, let's stop here for today's affairs. I'll leave it to you about propaganda. Mr. Ronan, please rest assured. Selzy patted his chest. This is ours, and our auction house will never disappoint you. Well, I believe you, Ronan nodded. However, Mr. Ronan, this longevity potion is too precious. We thought about it and we still can't put it here. Otherwise, you will leave the supreme sharp knife and the healing potion behind, and the longevity potion will still be stored on your body. How about giving it to us on the day the auction starts? Selzy said sincerely to Ronan. Although our auction house has a dedicated security team, we still dare not say that it is safe. I am afraid that the top pirates or some powerful solo travelers will be afraid of competition. Take the risk seriously. We are still confident that we can keep this supreme sharp knife and healing potion, but the longevity potion is too expensive, and it is safer to put it here. Yes, Mr. Ronan. Gerard on the side also said, if the longevity potion has an accident with us, our auction house can't afford it, and we all know your strength, and our boss dare not offend you. If something goes wrong, our auction house will be over. Chapter 114 Propaganda. The world is a sensation again. Haha, no problem. Ronan smiled slightly, knowing that the other party's boss was also afraid of an accident. After the accident, Ronan made trouble for the other party. Even if he hid in New World, he could not escape Ronan's chase. Now in this world, no power except the world government dares to be small. Look at Ronan. It can also be seen from this point that the owner of this auction house really intends to make friends with himself, is really afraid to offend himself, and is even more unlikely to play any conspiracy. Then it's settled. We have the supreme sharp knife and the healing potion. It is enough to promote it. As for the longevity potion, we will also promote it, but we don't need to take the real thing to promote it. When the auction comes, those people seeing the supreme sharp knife and the healing potion, you will naturally believe the authenticity of the longevity potion. Selzy said, you can use my name when you promote. Ronan took Robin and walked outside, and Selzy followed behind. They wanted to send Ronan out. I think Ronan's name is still somewhat well known. Ha ha ha, now who else in the world doesn't know your Ronan's name? Selzy flattered flatteringly. You are now famous all over the world, and your reputation has spread all over the world. Yes, you have your name. If you want to come to our publicity for this auction, it will definitely cause a huge sensation. Gerard also complimented. Then, I will wait and see. You are optimistic about it. After Ronan and Robin returned to the hotel where they were staying with the longevity potion, they didn't care about how the auction house prepared the promotion, but instead got busy with their own affairs. After Dana got acquainted with everyone, she ran over to chat and eat with a few women as soon as she had free time during this period, and even when shopping together. Although she is introverted, she is liked by a few girls. There are always endless topics to talk about together, and it is very pleasant to get along with each other. And Tom also knew about this, and he was very pleased with this. With Dana joining the Traveler Pirates, Ronan's endorsement was also given to his safety, plus Ronan at the moment. Sitting in the City of Water, who dares to provoke? When there was no problem with safety, Tom started a big purchase drastically. 600 million Baileys were spent like flowing water. He purchased a lot of materials from the early stage and started the pre-equipment work of Pluton. When Ronan entered the formal market, the auction house also started to move. Advertisement. New World, the newspaper headquarters office controlled by Morgans. Morgans is talking to a sturdy short man. Garcia, this time you caught up with that big guy, it's really out of luck. Morgans glanced at his mouth, and the eyes of a pair of big birds were full of jealousy. He also caught Ronan once on Rain Island last time, and this time the news of the Water City was quickly seen by his reporters. Get the head start of this super big news. However, this guy in front of him caught Ronan because of an auction house in the City of Water. It was really shit luck. Who would have thought that Ronan would actually take out such a precious thing to auction at the other auction house? Hey, Lord Ronan can count on my little auction house. The strong man has a mustache, and his small eyes are full of shrewd colors. At the moment, his mouth has a triumphant smile. But this time, I have to trouble Mr. Morgans to show his face. This is the cost of publicity. You can rest assured. You will definitely not be missing. That's for sure. You made a lot of money this time, Morgans said. His eyes moved. By the way, this auction is in a hurry. You won't tell Ronan about it, Let him. Will the time be pushed back a bit? There will definitely be more people going to the auction by then? Hey, that adult may be in a hurry to spend money. I also asked his subordinates to suggest it. He refused, but it doesn't matter. The lot he brought out this time is so precious, even if the time is tight, many people will rush to it. The strong man shook his head helplessly, and then said, Mr. Morgans, that's what happened this time. I also need to hurry back to preside over the auction. For such a big auction, I won't go and sit down in person. I always feel a little worried. Yes, after all, such a big thing. Morgans nodded in agreement, and then said with a smile, But Garcia, what are you in a hurry? Tomorrow, I will deal with the matter today, and tomorrow I will go to the City of Water with you. Oh, are you going too? Garcia asked in a daze. Certainly? Morgans glared. Is that precious thing that I want very much? Okay. Don't talk about the longevity potion, not about the supreme sharp knife, just the healing potion, 10 bottles. How can I say that there is also Morgan? A copy, right? Who doesn't want such a good thing? He, that's right, Garcia chuckled. Well, then I'll go back with you tomorrow. It just so happens that you have a clipper in your hand, and you can go back sooner with you. You guy has made a lot of money this time, and you're still rubbing my boat. Don't you also have a clipper in your hand? Different, wouldn't it be more comfortable to rub you against you? Shameless. He. Regarding the auction event in the City of Water, with newsbirds flying across the world, flying around the world, whether it is the Four Seas, the Grand Line, or the Red Line, they all know the three things that will appear in this auction, completely detonated the whole world. Advertisement? What? Are there any supreme knives for sale at this auction? Or two? What? This medicine can kill human flesh and blood. If the heart is punctured, it can be cured in a short time? It's a lie? Quick. Hurry up to raise money and go to the Water City. Yes, the newspaper said that Golden Lion Haki provoked Ronan before and was killed by Ronan, so these two famous knives fell into his hands, and now they are sold directly. This swordsman also looked envious. Said, not to mention how precious the supreme sharp knife is, the money for selling the knife is incredible. What? Elixir can increase people's lifespan by 100 years. FK. Fake. And this thing? Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Luo, Ronan, the swordsman was stunned. Ronan? Countless people were moved, and they all started to take action. Many people are raising money and rushing to the City of Water. Can you afford it? Shall we gather together? It's true. A swordsman next to him looked at the newspaper with blazing eyes, pointed to a name and said, Look here. Hey, there are other lots. This Ronan is incredible. The other two lots he took out are also very precious. Healing potions and the longevity potions can increase lifespan by 100 years. My God, there is such a heaven-defying potion in the world. The whole world was a sensation. Almost everyone was discussing the publicity message issued by an auction house in Water Capital. Many people couldn't believe it was true. This, isn't it true? Who is so stupid to sell the supreme knife? A Jian Hao looked at the propaganda in the newspaper with a dumbfounded look. With a big knife in hand, you won't be able to sell it even if you kill it. It must be hidden as a treasure, or even passed on to the next generation as a family heirloom. How can it be sold? Yes, it was Ronan who brought it out for auction. It's not bad for this supreme knife. I heard that he still has a stronger famous knife in his hand. The two supreme knives he took out this time are the Golden Lion Haki. The two use. And those who are almost as excited as these people are those who control the big forces. Then, let's go to the auction too. Golden Lion Haki? God, is it? No, we don't have enough money. Go back to find the teacher, and find our brothers and sisters. It might be enough for everyone to pull together. Chapter 115 4 Emperor's Admiral 5 Elders are all here? For those who are in control of large-scale power, among these three auctions, they value not the supreme sharp knife, but the healing potion and the longevity potion. Speaking of the most precious, it is of course the longevity potion. Ever since, the controllers of the top powers either came by themselves or sent trusted cronies to participate in the auction. Why are they absolutely trusted cronies? Nonsense, what should I do if I ran off after buying a potion? Some kings of the major kingdoms even came personally. They were even more enthusiastic about this longevity potion. With the 100-year lifespan increased by this longevity potion, they can be in power for 100 years, enjoy the free and easy life, and have a pair of them. A healthier body, that healing potion can also make them jealous. Marijoy, 5 Elders was even more shocked after learning of this. Several people discussed for a while, although there was great hostility between them and Ronan, they had even completely torn their skins, but they were also eager for such good things. Needless to say, the two famous knives are definitely very precious things, and the 10 bottles of healing potions are even more precious, and it is the longevity potions that really make their eyes hot. To say who is really rich in this world, it must be the world government, the Celestial Dragons. 5 Elders is not only for themselves, but also a group of patriarchs of Celestial Dragons family, asking them to buy this bottle of longevity potion. Celestial Dragons didn't dare to go to the Water City. Some time ago, 4 Celestial Dragons had just died in the Water City. They didn't dare to go there in person. Advertisement since then, 5 Elders also had the intention to go, and the two parties together, one person in 5 Elders went on behalf of the Celestial Dragons to participate in the auction as a private person. And Naval Headquarters originally wanted to get involved in this matter, but unfortunately, their military expenses were all funded by the world government. Wherever the money came from to participate in the auction, the world government personally ended. How could Naval Headquarters come to join in the fun again? So, after Marijoy rejected Naval Headquarters' application, Kong had no choice but to give up. But in the end, Marine still dispatched an admiral to follow the 5 elders, who was the bodyguard and was responsible for protecting the 5 elders. In addition, in the 4 large seas, there are also major forces coming, not only those kings, but also some idle pirate group members. Although it is far from the Grand Line, there are many pirate groups. They don't have the strength to rush over, but they have the idea. The big pirates teamed up to collect money and sent a powerful group to go. The goal is not the longevity potion that is obviously unaffordable, but the healing potion. This thing is for everyone, it is extremely precious. It is good to buy a bottle without asking for more. In New World, the auction is extremely hot. With the strength of the 3 top pirates, Whitebeard, the captain of the Whitebeard pirate group, was even more shocked by the healing potion. Although his body is at its peak at this moment, his body has begun to show some diseases and incurable injuries, but not yet. Obviously, relying on a strong body can still be suppressed, far less serious than in the next 10 years. However, he can also imagine that he will definitely be very painful when he grows old in the future, and most importantly, it will affect the Whitebeard pirates. So Whitebeard made up his mind to go to the Water City in person, not just to participate in the auction, he also want to talk to Ronan. For Ronan, he has been paying close attention to him from before. Until now, the opponent has completely taken off and stepped onto the ranks of the world's top powerhouses. He is not inferior to himself and others, and even stronger. The opponent already has an equal footing with himself. Qualification, it is worth seeing each other in person. If you can spend money from Ronan himself, it will be even more perfect. Similar to Whitebeard, Kaido of Beast's Pirates also had the same idea. He also rushed to the Water City in person. He didn't even bring his generals, but went alone instead of going to war and bringing so many people. Do what? As for the Ant pirate group, the Ant also rushed to the City of Water, but he took some people there, a few highly valued sons and daughters, hoping to photograph some healing potions. As for the longevity potions, the best photos, well, it doesn't matter if you can't shoot it. There are definitely a lot of people competing for that thing. With her financial resources, she may not be able to shoot it. In the end, it was Redhair. Although he is not a 4 emperors at this moment, the development of this period of time has allowed his reputation to spread in the New World. Many people know the power of Redhair pirates. The 4th powerful pirate group after the 3 great pirate groups. Advertisement: the red-haired Shanks also took the deputy captain to the Water City. The purpose was self-evident, but unlike the others, he was not going to take potions because he couldn't afford it. Redhair Pirates is the poorest one of the top pirate groups in the New World. Where can there be money to compete with those big guys? Even those 2 famous red-haired knives can't afford it. His plan is similar to that of Whitebeard. The main thing is to get in touch with Ronan. He wants to benefit from Ronan. It is best to unite with Ronan's pirates and form an alliance. Then, as an ally, from Ronan. If you buy something good at discounted prices in private, it's a good idea to open your mouth. In addition to these people, there are also rare races other than humans who have also sent people here, such as giants, villains, merfolks, and so on. As for Shichibukai, there are not many Shichibukai at this moment, and there are some poor people who don't have the money to join in the fun. With the passage of time, getting closer and closer to the official start of the auction, the entire City of Water has become more and more lively. Countless big people from all over the world have come here, driving the prosperity of the City of Water, and the merchants are making a lot of money. The joy is in bloom. I wish Tenten did this. The official of the Water City has even mobilized a lot of manpower and material resources to maintain public order. These people are big people, and they can't go wrong. These people are powerful, and once they do it, the movement is not small. But at this moment, Ronan sent a message through the auction that all those who used force in the Water City during the auction will be disqualified from participating in the auction. As soon as their reputation gained, many pirates who were accustomed to violent personalities immediately became honest, and they did not dare to mess around in the City of Water, not only because they were afraid of being disqualified, but also because they were afraid that Ronan would take action in a rage. After losing their lives, with Ronan's current strength, wouldn't it be like playing them to death? After a few more days, it finally came to the day when the auction started. On this day, Ronan came to the auction house with the longevity potion and a few women. It was the auction house owner Garcia who came back from New World to greet him, and Morgans, who was beaten to death, stayed beside Garcia. Chapter 116. Another World Live. Start the auction. Welcome to Mr. Ronan. I am Garcia, the owner of the auction house. I have been admiring Mr. Ronan for a long time. Thank you for choosing our auction house this time. Garcia stood at the door of the auction house with great enthusiasm and personally greeted Ronan. As soon as he saw Ronan, he smiled and said compliments, and Morgans behind him also smiled. He was not the first to see Ronan, can be regarded as a person familiar with Ronan. Mr. Ronan, long time no see, Morgans followed. Hello. Ronan nodded, regarded as a response. The girls behind him did not speak, but looked around curiously. Although the security staff of the auction house had cleaned up the people around, there were still many people nearby. Looking around here, seeing Ronan coming, a large group of people exclaimed. However, most of these are ordinary people, and the big figures who participated in the auction have basically entered the auction house and are waiting for the auction to officially start. Mr. Ronan, let's go in first. This is not a place to talk. I have prepared the most luxurious VIP room for your group. As Garcia said, he also felt that the surrounding crowd was too noisy. He quickly led Ronan to the second floor of the auction hall. Among the most luxurious VIP rooms, this VIP room is not small, at least 80 square meters. Around, it is much larger than the 30 square meter ordinary VIP room where Ronan came here before, and there is a special lady waiting in the room, a lot of delicious snacks, fine wines and precious juice drinks, etc. This VIP room is the largest in our auction house. Garcia introduced the VIP room to Ronan. It is located directly north of the second floor of the auction hall, directly facing the auction table below. Garcia pointed to the empty side of the VIP room, just facing the huge auction platform on the first floor below, and looking around for a week, the other VIP rooms on the second floor were basically there. Those who can enter the VIP room are real. The big people, and those on the seats in the lobby on the first floor below, are all the less influential people in the world. Of course, if you underestimate people because these people are sitting in the lobby on the first floor, you are quite wrong. Anyone who stands up there may be the captain of a large sea pirate group or the king of a certain country. Yes, they also want to come to the VIP room. Unfortunately, there are only a dozen or 20 VIP rooms in the auction house, which can accommodate so many people. They are all reserved for real bosses, such as Ronan and 5 elders. One of them is Admiral of Headquarters, and New World's Whitebeard Kaido and so on. Fine. Ronan smiled and nodded, then came to the edge of the fence and looked in the direction of the lobby on the first floor and the other VIP rooms on the second floor. As soon as Ronan appeared, he immediately attracted the attention of countless eyes. It was truly eye-catching, and huge and terrifying pressure swept through. If it were an ordinary person, he would have fallen to his knees in shock. Those who see through were all top powerhouses. Ronan was like a spring breeze, he didn't care, and even shielded all the oppressive gaze for the people behind him. Ronan held his hands on his back and stood proudly on the fence of the most luxurious VIP room. Although the figure of a short child contained a terrifying power that no one could underestimate, everyone in the court immediately felt stunned. Advertisement, it really is Ronan. Enough Haki. In the hall, a voice of appreciation came from a seat. This was a big man with a sturdy atmosphere. At this moment, he grinned and gave a thumbs up to Ronan. Just laughed. Ronan replied softly. Although his voice was small, it spread throughout the lobby in the VIP room on the second floor. Ronan, the son of the devil, has appeared. At this meeting, Ronan hadn't been seen on the second floor before. The other people in the hall suddenly looked up and looked in the direction of Ronan. They were amazed and whispered, "Talk. It really looks like a child, amazing. I heard he is less than 12 years old, he is heaven-defying. Monster, too enchanting. Hey, guess who else I saw on the second floor?" Suddenly, a man laughed in a low voice, pointed to a VIP room on the second floor and said, "Over there, FK, isn't that Sengoku Admiral?" The old man beside him, hiss. It turned out to be one of 5 elders. The person next to him looked up and was shocked. "FK, it's really," the group of people next to them were in an uproar. "FK, the lot that Ronan took out to participate in the auction, your world government just turned around with them, now Pidian is running over to participate in the auction? Do you want to be so shameless? The point is that with the financial resources of the world government, you might not be able to take good photos after waiting for someone else. Most of these people were born as pirates, and at this moment, the 5 elders and Sengoku Admiral who came to participate in the filming were itchy. On the second floor, in the VIP room where Sengoku was located, 5 elders and Sengoku took their gazes away from Ronan, and Sengoku said, "My lord, it seems we are very unpopular. Don't care about these little things, our goal is to take pictures, these people don't have to worry about them." The 5 elders who came here to participate in the auction is the short and fat 5 elders, sitting leisurely by the fence at the moment. Pay attention to the discussion of the people in the lower hall. "Well, but my lord, although we have a lot of money, there are too many people here, and these people can't be underestimated. Look over there, all the New World people are here," Sengoku said in a deep voice. As he said, his gaze shifted to several other places on the second floor, where Whitebeard and others were located. "We are fighting for financial resources, they can't fight ours, don't worry." Chunky 5 elders remained unmoved. Advertisement, Mr. Ronan, the auction will officially start in a short while, is your longevity potion on hand? We need to take things down to participate in the auction? Ronan smiled and said, "Let your people get ready to start, don't waste time." "Bring it." Ronan took out the longevity potion and handed it to a staff member beside Garcia. The staff carefully put the things away, and then bowed down. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. That's why he can make his news agency so big. Then we are ready to start the auction, Garcia said with a smile, and at the same time accompanied Ronan and his party in this VIP room to watch the normal auction. Clear. Hey, Morgans, you guy, don't even let this go? Garcia turned by Kugan and said, "Mr. Ronan, this guy's request is a bit too much, sorry." On the other side, Whitebeard was in the VIP room. Whitebeard looked at Ronan and looked at Ronan. He smiled at Ronan and nodded to show that Ronan was not proud. He also nodded with Whitebeard and then even more. I exchanged eyes with the big players on the second floor, such as Kaido, Ant, Shanks and so on. It's nothing, if you want to broadcast live, just broadcast it, I don't have any comments. Hey, okay, I will arrange now. Garcia, your auction will start normally. Garcia asked Ronan softly. Ronan doesn't feel bad about Morgans. This guy is a real businessman. Although he works with the world government and celestial dragons, he mainly has business contacts. Otherwise, he wouldn't have a good relationship with many big pirates. Morgans left the VIP room and went to arrange the live broadcast of this grand auction. Hey wait, Seeing this, Morgan's on the side suddenly spoke. He looked at Ronan and said, "Well, Mr. Ronan, don't you mind if I live broadcast this auction?" When Morgan's made arrangements, Garcia's side was also ready, and this highly anticipated auction officially began. "This guy, I can't let go of any time to make money and become famous," Garcia shook his head and said. Chapter 117 Robin shouts, "Eye of the Sky. Welcome everyone to participate in this auction. I am the auctioneer Walker at today's auction. Let's not talk nonsense with you. Next, our auction will officially begin." On the huge auction stage, under the dazzling lights, the tall and thin man who thought he was wearing a tuxedo exclaimed happily, "We have our staff below, and present today's first lot." The first lot is not an item provided by Ronan. In such a lively and prestigious auction, how could Garcia as the owner only take a few things provided by Ronan, so you can insist on something? Not much time, so many wealthy people come here, how can you say you have to shoot more things and make more money? As a result, Garcia auctioned a lot of lots in advance. Although that is the case, many of the lots are precious things. For example, the first item used to warm up the venue is not bad. The first lot was provided by a guest from North Blue, please take a look. Walker lifted the red cloth on the plate presented, revealing the items on the plate, which was an ancient crown. This is a crown unearthed from an ancient ruin. It has been more than 1,000 years ago. It is not only of historical value. Look at the few gems inlaid on it. Walker said passionately, "This is a very, very rare amethyst. Legend has it that this gem has a very mysterious power and is very valuable for research and collection." Then, the first lot, the ancient crown, has a starting price of 301 Bailey. Each increase cannot be lower than 10,000 Baileys, now start bidding. As soon as Walker's voice fell, there was a sound of bidding in the hall. 3.5 million Bailey, 3.8 million Bailey, 4.2 million Bailey. 4.2 million Bailey once. 3 times, the deal. Congratulations to this guest for winning this ancient crown. Then we will prepare the second lot. The whole auction will continue smoothly. The next few lots, although low in value, are also very rare treasures. Many people are bidding, most of which are some kings and some wealthy businessmen from all over. The people in the VIP room on the second floor did not bid. They mainly didn't like these things. They all came for the few lots offered by Ronan. Even the people in the lobby did not make any bids. After the money is spent, no good things can be photographed. Ronan was sitting on the fence, watching the auction proceed. His expression was a bit boring. It was all things he didn't like, he didn't export bids, and he didn't have any things he liked. Advertisement. The few girls behind them were very interested in these rare items, but they just didn't like that treasure anymore. "Huh? Ronan, look, this lot is good." At this time, Walker on the stage had just asked someone to bring up a lot. After a brief introduction, Robin's eyes lit up, not only her, but the other girls. They also looked at the objects on the stage with scorching eyes, even Orovia looked over. Oh, Ronan's expression moved, and he sat up and looked at the past. This is a necklace, a very beautiful necklace, with a small pink gem inlaid on it, exuding a beautiful brilliance under the colorful light. No wonder a few girls would be interested in it. "Do you want this necklace? Take it if you want it," Ronan said with a smile, "but there is only one necklace, and it can only be photographed for one of you. It's not easy." I want to take this photo and give it to my mother." Robin stuck his tongue out and smiled while hugging Orovia's arm. "Nonsense, what am I going to do with this?" Orovia smiled and hit Robin's little head. "You can bring it yourself if you want, or give it to Elena and the others, I don't want it." When Irina heard this, she waved her hand quickly and joked. The starting price of this necklace alone reached 2 million Baileys, such a precious thing, how could she afford it? She hurriedly refused. "Neither do I, me too, so expensive necklace, don't want it." Several other girls also refused, especially Dana, who had just joined the team, waved their hands again and again. "Robin, since you spoke first, let's call for a price, take a picture and bring it yourself." Ronan couldn't help but smile as he looked at the women and said, "And Orovia, and you guys. You don't have to be too polite, for me, it's all small money. After this auction is over, there will be a lot of money for the auction of medicines. This little money is nothing at all. Okay, I'll make a bid." Robin's relationship with Ronan didn't save Ronan any money. He immediately jumped up happily when he heard the words. He lay down on the fence and started shouting. If he didn't shout, the necklace would be taken away by others. For the third time for 5.6 million Bailey, is there anyone bidding? If not, this necklace belongs to this guest. This is the third time for 6 million Baileys. Well, this necklace named Eye of the Sky belongs to the guest in VIP room 1. Advertisement. Below the stage, a man sitting in the hall smiled, and a woman next to her was flushed with joy. Such a beautiful necklace is about to be worn on her neck. How can she be unhappy? Seeing this, Walker could only hammer the hammer to determine the result of this lot. There was no way. When Robin made a bid, no one dared to make a sound. The woman next to her looked even more ugly, but after she turned her head and saw the bidder on the second floor, she immediately did not dare to speak. Walker yelled excitedly. Unfortunately, he didn't get any response to this question. Then again, the people on the second floor who bid for the price were from the VIP room number 1. The VIP room number 1 was not where Ronan was. Your VIP room. On the stage, Walker shouted loudly that this necklace with a starting price of 2 million is indeed beautiful. It is already very high to be able to shoot more than 5 million Baileys, but if he can, he definitely wants to shoot higher. It started. The climax of this auction has arrived, and at the same time, the sleepy people of the world who watched the live broadcast are also instantly refreshed. Countless people kept their mouths shut, not to mention the people in the lobby. Even the people in the other VIP rooms on the second floor did not dare to offend Ronan at this time. If you offend Ronan at this time, how will you compete later? Where are the treasures Ronan brought out? At this time, who would dare to snatch things from Ronan? Well, the guest from VIP room 1 is bidding for 6 million Baileys. Is anyone still bidding? But at this moment, a figure came from the second floor. 6 million Baileys, I want this necklace. Well, our auction has been held for several hours, and only the last lot is left. I believe you all guessed it. The last lot was provided by Mr. Ronan. The main reason for your visit is the purpose is also these lots, so I don't want to talk nonsense, and I just list them. Offending Ronan at this time, it's really looking for death. Walker on the stage yelled loudly, and for a moment, everyone in the hall immediately burst into an uproar, all staring at the stage with scorching eyes, while the people in the VIP room on the second floor were also all attentive, and they even exuded a bitter aura. Next, it is their competition in the VIP room on the second floor. Those in the lobby can find cheap ones under the competition of the big men on the second floor. It is estimated that there are very few. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Wow, so excited. It was a crisp girl's voice that made the two of them face change. Their lips moved, and they didn't speak. He didn't know who was calling, but needless to say, the voice came from the VIP room on the second floor. Up people. Chapter 118 Fierce Competition. Tensions. FK'd. I should have taken out the finale lot for shooting. I was drowsy looking at the previous lot. Cut. It sounds like you can afford it. Hey, I saw it was wonderful. Every lot is over millions of Baileys. Those people are really rich. All over the world, countless people who are watching the live broadcast are talking about it at this moment. Although the previous lots are precious, they have never seen them before, but after all, there is nothing to be played next. Fame can't be compared, because the next thing to be played is the Supreme Sharp Knife, a healing potion capable of life and death. There is also the most coveted longevity potion, which increases lifespan by 100 years, not to mention those big people, even ordinary people, they also expect that they can extend their lifespan by 100 years. Who doesn't want to live longer? Of course, ordinary people definitely have no chance to get it, but this can't stop their curiosity. This kind of heaven-defying thing doesn't look at what it looks like. How can you brag about it when you go out in the future? It was also a time when people all over the world were happily talking about it. In the auction hall of the City of Water and the VIP room on the second floor, everyone was staring at the auction table. Walker waved his hand and asked the staff to bring the lot up. After the meeting, several staff members cautiously and very cautiously pushed a small cart and carried a huge pallet up. Walker was also cautious, reaching out his hand and slowly uncovering the red cloth on the tray, revealing the items on the tray, which are 2 long knives. These 2 long knives are the first 2 supreme knives among the items to be photographed, Soccer 10, and Dead Wood. Dear guests, you must have known before you come, and have read our auction house's publicity report, and have also learned about these 2 famous knives. Yes, these 2 famous knives are the big pirates who used to cross the sea. Golden Lion Shiki's saber. After Shiki provoked Mr. Ronan, he was beheaded by Mr. Ronan. The 2 famous knives naturally fell into the hands of Mr. Ronan. This time Mr. Ronan took out the 2 famous knives for auction. It is the swordsman. The best chance, you know, this is the supreme knives, or 2, we will auction them separately. Walker explained excitedly. Hurry up and talk about the starting price. Advertisement. A swordsman who looked excited at the famous sword could not help shouting loudly. He could not listen to the auctioneer anymore. Yes, right, hurry up, those of us here, who don't know this. The others also yelled. Those who can participate in this auction are basically powerful and rich people. Even if a few do not have them, they are also powerful people. Even if they are alone, they should not be underestimated. Haha, well, then I won't tell you more. Then, the first supreme knife. Soccer 10. To be auctioned has a starting price of 300 million Baileys. The minimum price increase is 10 million Baileys each time. Now, start the auction. Walker shouted loudly, and the atmosphere in the court suddenly became extremely strong. Everyone in the audience was not only the swordsmen, but also the kings and powerful leaders began to shout prices in full swing. After all, this is supreme. Big knife, although the price of 300 million Baileys is not low, the price is worthy of the name of supreme knife, or even low. 350 million Baileys, shouted a man with a prominently distinguished and powerful beard. He added 50 million Baileys for one bite, trying to scare others away. 400 million Baileys, I have 400 million Baileys. As soon as the person in front of him said, another person made an offer. This was a middle-aged man with a long knife around his waist. The man's eyes were cold and solemn, and his voice was full sharp sense, obviously a swordsman with superb kendo attainments, followed by a few young people with the same waist swords. This person is probably from a certain kendo hall. YF2F, 430 million Pele. There was a voice again, and the shouting was a tall and thin young man wearing a black kabuto hat. The young man's eyes looked like eagle eyes, his pupils were golden yellow, his face was indifferent, and his voice was indifferent. What? On the second floor, Ronan looked at this man with a little surprise. This guy, very much like someone, took a closer look, and sure enough, this guy is him, Mahawk Hawkeye, but Mahawk when he was young. Judging from his momentum, although the opponent's current strength is not as strong as in the future, the faintly sharp and invincible momentum shows that this guy is not simple. After all, he is the world's largest swordsman in the future. But why does this guy come here to buy a knife? Isn't his big black knife also the supreme big knife? Ronan muttered. His eyes circled Mahawk, but he didn't see the big black knife on him. Obviously the opponent hasn't got the big black sword yet. Mahawk seemed to perceive Ronan's gaze, raised his head slightly, his evil-like gaze swept Ronan, and after an expressionless look at Ronan, he turned his head again. What's wrong? Ronan. Orovia noticed Ronan's abnormality and asked a little strangely. As for the other girls, they watched the people below bid with excitement. Nothing, I saw a familiar person, Ronan said with a smile. Oh, advertisement. Orovia nodded, but didn't ask more, but kept watching. The competition continues. Although fewer and fewer bidders are offered, the scene is getting more intense. I gave out 840 million Bailey, please give me Joyce a face, and I will definitely entertain you at my North Blue Jiwoo Kendo Hall in the future. The middle-aged man who was the first to make an offer stood up and looked around. Although his complexion remained the same, he spoke very politely. Hey, Joyce of North Blue Jiwoo Kendo Gym, do you want this supreme sharp knife too? At this time, another man with a knife at his waist stood up. This was a slightly fat man with a beard. The man, he smiled slightly and said, coincidentally, I also want this famous sword at the South Blue Golden Snake Kendo Hall. I will pay 850 million Baileys. When the bidding reaches this level, most people have already started to increase the price by 10-10 million. This price is also very high. The average lone swordsman can't afford it. Only those who open the Kendo Hall can persist. Golden Kendo Hall. The man at Jiwoo Kendo Hall looked ugly. He didn't expect that South Blue Kendo Hall would also come to grab this famous sword. You can go and take one. How about letting this one go to me? No, who knows if the price will be higher next. The man at the Golden Snake Kendo Hall shook his head. 150 million. Walker had already yelled from the stage, and his eyes had been on the second floor. Now in the lobby on the first floor, there are almost only 2 Kendo Halls remaining in competition, and the others have already frightened off by this price. Those who can bid again are probably only the VIPs on the second floor. Damn it, 860 million Baileys. The man in Jiwoo Kendo Hall cursed secretly, and then added another 10 million Baileys. Seeing his appearance, it is estimated that he has reached the limit, and the disciples behind him even more. It was the person who looked at the Golden Snake Kendo Gym very nervously, for fear that he would bid again. However, the man at the Golden Snake Kendo Hall shook his head slightly, sighed and sat down. The bid he just made was indeed the limit, and he wanted to let the Jiwoo Kendo Hall think about the second famous sword so that he could take the first one. Let it be to myself, but they made another bid. Master Joyce of the North Blue Jiwoo Kendo Gym bid 860 million Baileys. Is there a higher one? Walker shouted again. As a result, looking around, many people in the lobby on the first floor shook their heads and sighed. Such a price is so amazing. These people also started to look around and saw that everyone else was watching. Obviously no one was bidding anymore. They all turned their eyes to the second floor. At this time, the people in Jiwoo Kendo Hall had just seen the people in the Golden Snake Kendo Hall sitting down, and before they had time to rejoice, they looked nervously at the second floor again, praying secretly, and the VIPs on the second floor should stop competing. Chapter 119 The Three Kings of New World, 1.2 billion. Billion Baileys. As a result, the sound from the second floor made the people of Jiwoo Kendo Hall despair, and the leader Joyce sighed and sat back helplessly. 1 billion Baileys, he couldn't get it out if he was killed. He came here to participate in the auction this time, but brought all the cash in the Kendo Hall. There were only 900 million Baileys in total. Billion, how do you compare? Billion Baileys for the first time, is anyone still bidding? Walker exclaimed with great excitement. His gaze fell completely on the other VIP rooms on the second floor, or the big guys on the second floor, who added more than 1 billion Baileys as soon as he opened his mouth. Ronan turned his eyes and looked in the direction of the VIP room where he was bidding. There, a red-haired man was drinking with a jug of wine. He noticed Ronan's gaze, and he smiled at Ronan and raised the jug in his hand. Yang is regarded as a courtesy. Ronan also raised the wine glass in his hand and smiled. Redhair, doesn't this guy have a famous knife in his hand? Griffin, is not worse than soccer at 10. In Shanks's VIP room, Beckman saw Shanks bidding and hesitated. Captain, why are you bidding for this knife? Don't you leave money to buy other things? It's okay, this is a famous knife. It's very rare, or the supreme sharp knife. No one will refuse another one, right? Redhair said with a smile. Although that is the case, 1 billion Baileys is still a bit. What should I do if the money is not enough? Beckman said helplessly. You all have Griffin, do you want to go second-hand? Hey, if I have a chance to get another famous knife, I don't mind taking the second sword. Shanks smiled, patted Griffin on his waist with his left hand, and said with a smug expression. 2 famous knives in hand, who will be my opponent in the future? These are the knives that people don't want. They are all sold out. Who do you think you can beat? Beckman whispered. Ahem. Shanks choked and drank quickly to divert attention. Advertisement at this moment, another VIP room on the second floor rang out. 150 million Bailey. I want this knife. A dull and bold voice sounded, attracting everyone's attention. It's Whitebeard. Shanks' eyes condensed, and Beckman stared at him also solemnly. Whitebeard's name is well known in New World. New World alone has a reputation even more than Ronan. After all, They have been fighting in New World for many years, and each of the three kings is easy to provoke. This guy doesn't want to stop with Tien Kongyun, still wants to get a supreme sharp knife? Shanks curled his lips. You said it, no one minds an extra famous knife. Beckman flipped through Byakugan. 150 million Bailey, Lord Whitebeard, the leader of the Whitebeard pirate group from New World, bid 150 million. Is there a higher price? Walker shouted with red eyes, such a high price, even if it was the famous knife, is also very exaggerated. At this moment, he is extremely excited and full of excitement. After this auction, the owner Garcia must have paid a lot of compensation. 1 billion Baileys. A wild voice sounded, and everyone turned their heads to look, but saw a tall and strong man with double horns sitting cross-legged on the side of the fence on the second floor. 1 billion Baileys. Lord Kaido, the leader of Beasts Pirates from New World, bid 1.1 billion Baileys. Kaido grinned after hearing this. Ha ha ha, Whitebeard, what do you want so many knives for? How about letting me? Kaido, should I ask you this? What do you want a famous sword for? Whitebeard said, don't you want to become a swordsman? Well, I don't use knives very much, but I can use them to recruit talents. It is a very good choice for my subordinates to use in the future. Charlotte Linlin, the leader of the Big Mom pirate group from New World, bid 1.2 billion Baileys. Is there a higher price? Walker screamed frantically, his voice trembling slightly, and it had spread all over the world through the live broadcast. Haha, then I'm not welcome. Kaido, Edward, come to my cake shop when you have time, please have cake, said the ant with a smile. They are all the big pirates of New World. Haven't you heard the name of the auctioneer? These three are all New World kings, top powerhouses across the sea. Advertisement, yeah, Mom wants to buy a knife, let it go to you. Kaido said indifferently, it seems that it was really just a bid for fun. In fact, it was the tacit understanding of the three New World kings. This auction, however, Morgans conducted a live broadcast of the world. With such a good opportunity to show up, the three kings of them will not let go, and in the future, they will use their expanded reputation to recruit new crew members. Hey, are there any bids? If no one is there, then this famous knife is mine. Kaido laughed when he saw Whitebeard retreat, and Haki Wushuang looked around for a week. Next, the second supreme sharp knife, withered wood, will start at 300 million Baileys, please bid. People all over the world have been talking about this, and they are all feeling that there are so many rich people. That's the supreme knife, very precious, sometimes you can't buy it if you have money. FK, are these people crazy? A knife of 1.2 billion Baileys? Horrible, so much money to buy a knife. This time, no one finally competed with the ant. This, Sakura 10, was photographed by the ant at a price of 1.2 billion Baileys, which shocked the world. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Since you say that, why don't you let it be? Whitebeard waved his hand, and his bid was just to join in the fun. The new big pirates of New World who were originally red-haired were not seen by their three top pirates. In his eyes, Hong made a price. As one of the three top pirate groups, he naturally wanted to come out and stun him. Now Kaido is also in the early stage. Whitebeard feels that this guy is a fool. If he fights with Kaido, he may suffer a loss and spend wrong money. Then no longer shot. Right? My god, why are these people so rich? I knew it when I watched them talk. Each of them called out each other's name. It doesn't matter what kind of typing it was in New World in private, or even the dog's brain typing it out, but now it's outside, especially at this moment. The world's top powerhouses and countless rich and powerful leaders must unite. However, it's good to show up, you don't necessarily have to take the knife. Kaido, do you think you won? I bid 1.2 billion Baileys? A woman's voice came from another VIP room. It was not someone else, it was Charlotte Linlin. She saw Whitebeard Kaido shouting at this moment. As the three kings of the New World, how can she not say anything? Doesn't she seem to be inferior? She has to show her face, and for her, it costs 1.2 billion Baileys to buy a handful of nothing. It's not a loss for a big knife. Chapter 120 Healing potions cause craziness, require. I bid 900 million Baileys for Jiwoo Kendo Hall. The man at Jiwoo Kendo Hall immediately opened his mouth. It was still the first bid, but he didn't report any hope in his heart. The first one reached the high price of 1.2 billion Baileys, how can this second one be lower? But no matter what, he still has to bid. What if he is bought by himself? After Joyce made the bid, the guy from the Golden Snake Kendo Hall in South Blue shook his head very wisely and did not bid. He knew that this knife would definitely not fall into his hands, so he would save some money. It's better to get a bottle of healing medicine later. I bid 910 million Baileys. Someone spoke up in a VIP room on the second floor, but this time it was not the three kings of New World, but someone else. Ronan didn't know him, he should be someone who wanted to come. He couldn't know everyone, and this timeline, it was more than 10 years before the plot of the original book began. I gave out 920 million, 930 million. 940 million. The bidding for the second famous knife was somewhat gradual, and did not jump to the highest one next time, but just as the people in the lobby thought, basically the people on the second floor were competing, and even the short and fat five elders began to bid. I, on behalf of the world government, bid 1 billion Baileys. Chunky five elders spoke calmly. Although the voice was not loud, it shocked everyone, and the audience fell silent. FCK, represents world government? Who is this person? Among the people who are watching the live broadcast, some people who do not know why they are talking about it, this person's price is very low, and it is 200 million less than the previous highest price of 1.2 billion, but this opening represents the world government. It's scary. Advertisement. You don't even know this one? Someone next to him looked at him contemptuously and said, "This is Lord Five Elders. I don't need to say too much, right?" It turned out to be Lord Five Elders. Forgive me for my ignorance. This person was startled when he heard it. It's over. Five Elders shot. Who else would dare to fight? More than money. Who can compare with the world government? Yes, no matter how much competition it is useless. Five Elders is not only representing the world government, but also representing the noble celestial dragons. I am afraid that everyone in this auction venue does not have as much money as him. Isn't it? But I think there are so many big guys on the court, this Five Elders can't take everything away aggressively. For example, didn't he just miss the knife before? But what? That bottle. The last longevity potion must be his. Hey, that's not necessarily true. Speaking of longevity potions, don't you see a lot of kings sitting in the hall? Not to mention that there must be some powerful kings in the VIP room on the second floor. You know, this kind of the medicine that can increase lifespan by 100 years is so precious to those who control the power, they may not be so simple to let go, even if the competitor is the world government. That said, then, let's continue watching the excitement. In the auction venue, after Five Elders started bidding, as expected, basically no one raised the price. In the end, in the voice of Walker, the second famous knife officially fell into the hands of Five Elders. Okay, the first lot offered by Mr. Ronan we auctioned today is officially over. Below is the long-awaited second lot for the fight. Yes, the healing potions are powerful beyond imagination, and the effect is amazing. Healing drugs, please bring us the staff. Walker continued to shout. After the previous few hours of auction, his voice was almost hoarse, but this still couldn't stop his passion at the moment. Walker solemnly said, "These 10 bottles of potions will be auctioned separately. The starting price of one bottle is 50 million Baileys, and the price increase is not less than 1 million Baileys. Then next, the first bottle. Start bidding." 4 staff members cautiously pushed a car and escorted 10 bottles of healing potions to the auction stage. Walker continued to open the red bra, revealing the neat 10 bottles of potions on the car, and the potions in the potions, shimmering with charming luster, looks very dazzling, attracting everyone's attention. Look, this is the therapeutic drug. We said during the promotion of this therapeutic drug. Mr. Ronan provided us with an extra bottle of the drug for us to test the drug. Our auction house can guarantee the efficacy of this therapeutic drug. It's stronger than what the propaganda says, and it's definitely not bad. The captain of the West Blue Hound Pirate Group, bid 70 million Baileys. The captain of the pirate group also joined the competition. Advertisement. Okay, let us congratulate His Majesty the King of Goa Kingdom from East Blue for successfully photographing this precious bottle of healing potion, Walker shouted. No one else was the first to bid, it was Five Elders. King of the Kingdom of East Blue Goa, bid 60 million Baileys. In the hall, a thin, pale middle-aged man opened his bid, turned out to be the king of the country where Windmill Village is located. Look at his pale complexion. Obviously came to take medicine to treat the injury. The captain of the Grand Line Blood Orchid Pirates, bid 75 million Baileys. Quickly, Mr. Walker, can you make a deal first? My body has a very serious illness. I want to take the medicine immediately. I hope your auction house can agree to my request. King of the Iron Curtain Kingdom of New World, bid 80 million Baileys. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. King of the South Blue Taman Kingdom, bid 65 million Baileys. After a heated bidding, in the end, the potion was not sold by the richest Five Elders, but by the king from the East Blue Goya Kingdom in the lobby. The final transaction price was 470 million 10 million Bailey. Although it is only the first bottle of potion, the competition among the people in the field is particularly fierce. Not only the people in the VIP room on the second floor, but also many people in the lobby open bidding. After all, the price is not too high, it's just a small bottle of medicine, but for those who need it, this medicine is irreplaceable and extremely precious. The people in the field, whether they are in the lobby or the VIP room on the second floor, are all waiting quietly at this moment, their eyes fixed on the auction table, their eyes are burning, and some people even show a greedy color. The auction items are not inferior to the 2 famous knives before, and they are even more precious to some people. The 2 famous knives may be invaluable to the swordsman, and for some big people, they are also used to collect or win the power. It's a thing of life, but this healing potion is different. It can be used by anyone, and it's a life-saving fetish. On behalf of the world government, I bid 55 million Baileys. The things sold in the first few hours, altogether, are the same as the first lot sold by Ronan. The price of the 2 supreme sharp knives is about the same, not to mention there are 2 more precious lots in the back. The gap is too big, how can he not get excited? The king of North Blue Redwood Kingdom, bid 68 million Baileys. Chapter 121 Take medicine on the spot, shocking effect. The king of the Goa Kingdom saw that the medicine was successfully photographed by himself, and he hurriedly got up and said, being weak, he needs the help of the guards beside him even to get up. Hearing this request, Walker looked awkward. After all, at this time he still needed to auction the second bottle of potion. However, the eyes of other people who heard this request brightened. This is good, just to see the effect of the medicine, and they can decide whether to bid with all their strength, because some people have seen the effect of the medicine mentioned in the advertising paper of the auction house, but after all, I haven't seen it with my own eyes. How can I be a little unbelievable in my heart? I agree, they have already photographed the medicine, it is not too much to take this requirement on the spot. Kaido's voice came out on the second floor, clearly supporting King Goya's request. He, I also agree. It just happens that we can all see the effect. If the effect is really heaven-defying as the propaganda says, then this potion, how can I say I have to take a bottle of it? One from Grand Line, the king of the country where the large island is located, said with a smile. Not bad, Whitebeard said again, and he grinned and said, Garcia, you fellow, this request is not too much, right? Yes, Garcia, you profiteer made a lot of money this time, the ant said, just let the person who took the first bottle of the potion take it on the spot, let us see the effect. Yes, I support it too. The Redhair smiled and said, of course, I don't suspect that Mr. Ronan's medicine is true or false, but I am just purely curious that this medicine is really as powerful as the newspaper says. I have never heard of it before. On the auction stage, Walker was in a dilemma, his eyes were in the direction where Ronan was. Outside Ronan's VIP room, there was a rush of footsteps, and Garcia ran over panting. He didn't dare to agree to this request privately. He had to ask Ronan for his opinion. Mr. Ronan, what should we do? Do you agree to the party? Garcia looked at Ronan anxiously. The people in the lobby below, as well as the other VIPs on the second floor, were all waiting, but he didn't dare to delay for a moment, and hurried over to ask for advice. Nothing to embarrass. Ronan casually drank the red wine in his hand, and calmly replied, since the customer has already purchased the medicine and asked to take it on the spot to verify the effect, of course there is no problem. Go, let him take it on the spot, so that everyone can watch it well. Look, is there a problem with my medicine? Okay, ha, I know that Mr. Ronan is magnificent, I will tell Walker now. Garcia was overjoyed when he heard the words, and then hurried away. This guy, come and go in a hurry. Robin smiled and watched Garcia run away. Advertisement, this uncle, I have made a lot of money from Captain Ronan today, Irina also said with a smile. That's another person's skill, Orovia smiled. However, our captain is the one who makes the most money. Karuman chuckled, his gaze at Ronan was full of admiration. But this Garcia auction house will collect the auction rate, right? I don't know how much to collect, Robin said with his fingers. Not much, Ronan shook his head and smiled lightly. He doesn't dare to charge too much, it offends me. There will be nothing so good in the future. Sure enough, someone who can do business. In the auction hall on the first floor, Garcia had already sent news to Walker. Walker, who received the news, was relieved on the spot, and then shouted loudly, everyone, our boss, Mr. Garcia, has obtained the consent of Mr. Ronan, the king of Goyas. There is no problem at all, we will complete the handover with King Goya now. When the voice fell, King Goya was of course overjoyed. He hurriedly asked the guards to help him and hand it over with the other party with the bank voucher. Of course, the auction house had people from the bank. After all, so many people participated in the auction, and it was impossible to bring all the cash and the amount. It's too big, it's a lot of trouble to bring cash. In the eyes of everyone's expectations, the handover was successfully completed, and the bottle of potion was also handed over to King Goya. King Goya, trembling with his hands and looking forward, he opened the bottle with great anxiety but cautiously opened the mouth of the bottle and slowly put the potion away. I drank it all, and shook the bottle in my mouth in order to prevent it from being missed, and drank the last drop without daring to waste a little bit. No one laughed at him, even if he is a king, but a bottle of medicine worth more than 400 million Baileys, even if you pour some water in and drink it, no one will laugh at him, it is too precious. The people of the world who watched the live broadcast looked at King Goya with envy. This bottle of more than 400 million Pele's potions can only be used by the king who rules the country. Look at the big pirates participating in the bidding, I can get it in the end. In the scene, whether it was the lobby or the VIP room on the second floor, they all looked expectantly at King Goya. If the effect is so good, then it is really a bankruptcy to buy a bottle. If the effect is so good, on the second floor, 5 elders looked at the King Goya who drank the potion, and said in a low voice. Then, for the remaining 9 bottles of potion, I have to get at least 5 bottles. My lord, if you have 5 bottles, it would be 2 billion Baileys, plus the last longevity potion. It is estimated that the price will be better, is it worth it? Sengoku was a little surprised at the side, how much did he want to buy? Of course it's worth it. It's just money. For our world government, it's as much as you want, Chunky 5 elders said calmly. But this kind of magical potion is very rare, and it's Ronan's thing. If we don't have one, we may fall into this potion in the future. As for the healing fruit that Man Shirley possessed in the original book, Man Shirley is still in Dressrosa's villain country, and the news of the healing fruit has not been revealed by the villain country. Advertisement, yeah, I was surprised too. The king really looked like he was going to die just now. He had to be supported on foot. He is fine now? Still jumping? Still laughing? In addition, healing fruits to heal diseases and pains is done by consuming the lifespan they have. The side effects are too great, and the life will be lost after using too much. Therefore, the king of the Lilliputian kingdom does not allow his daughters to use this ability indiscriminately. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. What do you mean? Sengoku's eyes moved and he understood what the other party meant. This is for research. For research, 1 or 2 bottles are needed. The remaining part is not enough for the big players. If you count it like this, 5 bottles are really not much. At this moment, everyone's eyes were straight. Below, the king of the Goa kingdom who drank the potion in front of everyone. This person was still pale before, as if he was about to die in the late stage of cancer, and was trembling slightly. He had to be supported by his guards when he walked. After taking the medicine for a few minutes, he became flushed, full of energy, happily jumping on the spot, laughing happily, that laughter, full of breath, that body healthy, like a teenager as a teenager. This sight shocked everyone. And those on the scene can more intuitively feel the difference between the front and back of the Goya king. Whether it is the lobby or the VIP room on the second floor, they are basically big people, strong individuals, and their eyesight is not a joke. Ha ha ha, well, it's really good, ha 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 ha, great, my body is back to health. I'll go, this medicine is heaven-defying. In the current world, there may be many doctors with top-notch medical skills, and within a few minutes, the King Goya can be restored to his current healthy appearance. No, absolutely not. FK. This potion works so well. What? These are the comments of the people who watched the live broadcast. Just as Sengoku was thinking about it, the chunky 5 elders suddenly widened his eyes and made a sound of surprise. Sengoku quickly turned his head to look at it, and when he saw it, he was shocked. Not to mention a few minutes, even if he was given a few years, at most he would hang the King of Goya, and he would not be able to do what he is now, recovering to a healthy and strong body like a teenager. Most people can clearly feel that the King Goya before drinking the medicine is really hollowed out and his internal organs are rotten, almost equivalent to the end of his life. No matter how much he can make it, he can't make it back, plus all kinds of things. Dark wounds and the like, even no matter how magical drugs are, they can't be cured unless it is the devil fruit with the same bug, but I have not seen the devil fruit yet, even the legendary Op fruit, it was a long time ago. Has appeared, but now, I haven't seen it. Chapter 122 triggered a bidding bid, make tens of billions. Well, dear guests, I believe everyone can clearly see the effects of the healing potions. Then, next is the auction of the second bottle of potions. Walker's eyes were shining brightly. At this moment, he was really very excited. There is a statement from the king of the Goa kingdom. Based on his own verification, the effect of the potion does not require him to say a word of praise. The effect is so heaven-defying, it will immediately cause looting from everyone. The actual situation is exactly the same. After the auction of the second bottle of medicine, everyone's bidding has not stopped, but in a short while the transaction price of the first bottle of 400 million Baileys has been reached, and it will soon exceed. Chi Wechun. I bid 580 million Baileys. The king stood up and shouted, with great momentum, trying to scare away other bidders, but unfortunately, other people are also sure to win. I bid 600 million Baileys. I give out 650 million. After a period of bidding, the price finally reached more than 600 million Baileys. After this price, there were fewer people in the hall who could raise the price. After the price of 700 million Baileys, there were no more people talking, and everyone was helpless. Watching the local tyrants in the VIP room on the second floor are shouting prices. I bid 800 million Baileys, Whitebeard cried out in a deep voice. Whitebeard, just wait for the next bottle. How about let me give this bottle of potion? I will give out 850 million Baileys, Kaido shouted. Whitebeard Kaido, stop fighting between you two. Let me give this potion. The ant in the VIP room on the side shouted, I'll bid 900 million Baileys. I bid 1 billion Baileys. 5 elders suddenly got up, walked directly to the edge of the fence, and said in a deep voice, I want this bottle of potion by the world government. Advertisement. When the voice fell, everyone else's complexion changed slightly. World government is really overbearing. He immediately announced that this bottle of medicine was his, but it is also true. They're also bidding for real money and silver. Who dares to have more money than world government? Ever since, without any accident, the potion was taken by 5 elders at a high price of 1 billion Baileys. The third bottle of potion began to be auctioned, and without accident, it was once again taken by 5 elders at a price of 1 billion 80 million Baileys. The price of the fourth bottle was even more exaggerated, reaching 1.23 billion Baileys, because other people saw 5 elders' posture and planned to take all the potions, so they had to join the competition and no longer feared world. The government is overwhelming. The big deal is that you have money in the world government, but you can't buy all the medicines. Besides, there is a more precious bottle of medicine behind. You spend so much money now, is there still money to buy later? Whitebeard and others are all looking ugly and competing with 5 elders, and their eyes exude a dangerous atmosphere. Even the people in the hall below have a bit of hostility towards 5 elders, even the kings of the franchise countries. This is not an exception, it's a matter of self-interest. You can't bully people just because you are 5 elders of the world government, right? 5 elders seems to have realized this too. After the 6th bottle of potion was sold for 1.3 billion Baileys, they stopped exporting to bid. Otherwise, Sengoku next to him would doubt that he and others would not be able to get out of the City of Water. How big a guy might be cruel? So, starting from the 6th bottle, the auction price has dropped a lot. Without the shark of 5 elders, other bidders are relieved. After all, there are 5 bottles of potions, there is no need to compete on one of them. The 7th bottle of potion was sold for 860 million Baileys and was obtained by Kaido. The 8th bottle of medicine was sold for 910 million Baileys and was bought by the ant. The 9th bottle of potion was sold for 960 million Baileys and was bought by Whitebeard. The last bottle of potion was bought by the red-haired Shanks for 1.8 billion Baileys. It is the most expensive one outside of 5 elders. After all, the power cannot be compared with the three kings, and the price is higher. But how? He said that he bought back a bottle of the medicine, even if the price was high. The redhead recognized it, and he even thought it was worth it. However, if you want to say that the bidders of the therapeutic medicine are the most profitable, it goes without saying that it is the king of Goya. This guy originally bid for the first time. It seems that the bid now is very small, only more than 400 million Baileys, but at that time almost everyone had a half-trusted attitude towards the so-called therapeutic agents, thinking that even if it was true, the effect would be the same. It could not be as exaggerated as the newspaper boasted, and he missed it as a result. This guy now looks complacent and feels that he has made a lot of money. The same thing is that there are countless people who watch the live broadcast. They also think that the king of the Goa kingdom has made a lot of money. Compared with the other people, he spends it. For more than 400 million Baileys, everyone else spent twice as much money to get a bottle. Among them, the sixth bottle of 5 elders even took 1.3 billion Baileys to get the picture. It's too much. Advertisement, no matter how rich the world government is, the 5 elders at this moment is a bit painful. I knew I bought the first bottle, and if I didn't use it on the spot, those guys would not bid so desperately. Who knows that this thing works so well? Sengoku exclaimed from the side. But also, if the effect is not so good, Master 5 elders, you won't spend so much bidding. HMPH, if it weren't for too many big pirates and leaders of all major powers here, I would be able to round up everything by myself. Chunky 5 elders snorted coldly. Don't, my lord. Sengoku hurriedly in a cold sweat. Fortunately, you didn't do that. You really want to do it. I can't protect you. Those lawless guys really dare to attack. Dare they? Chunky 5 elders glared. Sengoku, when did you become so courageous? Sengoku smiled bitterly. This is not a problem with the courage, it is really going to go wrong. Let's see who the people in the lobby and other VIP rooms are outside. Okay, all 10 bottles of healing potions have been shot. First of all, congratulations to the guests who took the potions. From now on, you will have one more life and a powerful hole card. Walker said with a smile on his face. Then, our auction this time has also ushered in the most important moment, and here is the last lot. Upon hearing this, all the people who were still talking about just now quieted down. Although the last lot had nothing to do with them, they, as people who experienced it firsthand, should take a good look. In the end, this is also the most important and most precious bottle of potion. Who will it go to? As for the last bottle of potion, longevity potion, I believe everyone has also learned something from the newspaper. Walker said in a deep voice, what I want to say is that this bottle of medicine comes from Lord Ronan. Its effect is to increase the lifespan of 100 years, but there is no way to verify it like a healing medicine. Because the medicine is too precious, it is simply no way to verify. I want to make this clear to everyone. Hearing this, everyone looked at each other. Does this mean that if this medicine is fake, whoever takes the photo can only admit that he is unlucky? Chapter 123 The Battle of Longevity Medicine, Fret. I know what everyone thinks. If there is a problem with the medicine, you will lose money if you buy it. Walker said again. But with the previous treatment potions and Mr. Ronan as a guarantee, I think the potions are completely okay. The reason why it is impossible to guarantee everything is just because the potions are too precious to be verified. Don't bid, then it's up to everyone. Please ask our staff to present the longevity medicine. Walker's voice fell, and the 4 staff members took the longevity potion up more carefully, and put it on the cart, and concentrated on bringing it up carefully. Even the staff did not leave, but stood guard around the potion very vigilantly. Look, everyone, this is the longevity potion. Walker tore off the red cloth from the trolley, revealing the small bottle that was fixed and protected on the tray. The bottle was naturally the longevity potion. At this moment, everyone's eyes were concentrated on the small bottle. Whether it's the people in the lobby, the VIP room on the 2nd floor, or the many people in the world who watched it live, they all looked at this small bottle of medicine. Is this the longevity potion that can increase the lifespan of 100 years? It's nothing unusual. Cut, you can see that it's not so precious anymore. This is a longevity potion. It can increase lifespan by 100 years. Oh my god, many of us ordinary people can live dozens of years without getting sick or accidentally killed in a lifetime, even less than 100 years old, but this medicine can increase a person's lifespan by 100 years, it's amazing. I really want this medicine. If I can live that long, I don't know how much more work I can do and how much more money I can make. Hey, it's a waste for ordinary farmers like you to use it. I use it as the best. With 100 years of lifespan, I can marry more wives, hee. You're not right. No one knows or cares about the words of the people of the world who are watching the live broadcast. Such precious things can't reach them. Only the most powerful and rich people have the opportunity. Advertisement. It seems that everyone is looking forward to it. Walker laughed and shouted with a fierce wave of his hand. Then start bidding now. The starting price of the longevity potion is 1 Bailey. Please make a bid. The voice fell, and the scene was silent for a while. Everyone was staring at the longevity potion, and after a while, someone finally spoke. I, King of North Blue Asterisk Kingdom, bid 1 billion Baileys. A fat man stood up and shouted, his eyes fixed on the longevity potion, as if he wanted to engrave it in his mind. I, King of South Blue Asterisk Kingdom, bid 1.5 billion Baileys. A trembling old man stood up and shouted. These kings are rich people. They have not dealt with the healing potions before, because the healing potions can heal injuries and diseases, but cannot extend their lifespan. What they value most is this bottle of longevity potion. In order to compete for this bottle of potion, They had to abandon the treatment potion, even if they knew that the chance was slim, they still thought so. I, King of the New World * Kingdom, bid 1.8 billion Baileys. The longevity potion is mine. Another old man stood up and shouted, his eyes fixed on the longevity potion, who also desperately wanted to extend his life. King Walker was so excited to watch this scene. As soon as the longevity potion came out, it immediately pulled the price to the high price of 1.8 billion Baileys, which was very scary. Ha ha ha, that's not necessarily, Whitebeard laughed, and then stopped talking. Hey, your world government wants to take action against Charlotte, don't forget me? Whitebeard interrupted again at this time, and he said with a big smile. I also want to try the strength of the Marine fleet. Don't you want to stop by me when you push Cake Island? This is an immortal fight. This boss named Charlotte dares to face 5 elders. He is really brave enough to go to heaven. Hey, my aunt is grand. Kaido laughed and said, yes, I don't have the money to bid. It's someone else's business not to let you, I'll just sit and watch you compete. I'm paying 2.3 billion Baileys, Kaido shouted, this is the highest price I can pay. Does this ghost potion really have such a great effect? It increases the lifespan by 100 years, so don't buy it back and use it. If it doesn't work, it's a big loss. Advertisement. The other people in the hall were equally shocked. You know that these bidders are all sitting in the hall. Those big guys on the second floor haven't spoken yet. They thought the people in the hall were basically there's no money in the above, but I did not expect that several kings will come out now, with 1 billion Baileys, which is too exaggerated. I'm out of 2.5 billion Baileys. The ant sneered. Kaido, you said it's useless to buy it back, so what are you still bidding for? How about letting me? He. I'm afraid of you, Marine. If you have the courage, just come and try. The ant also looked at 5 elders' mouth with a sneer. I'm afraid you will not be able to leave if you come. I don't have any money to bid, Whitebeard said. Charlotte, if you buy it back and drink it, you can tell me what the effect is. I, King of the New World * Kingdom, bid 2 billion Baileys. An old voice sounded from the second floor. Do you dare to shoot at me? 5 elders looked at the ant coldly. You have the courage? Aren't you afraid that I will send Admiral to lead the fleet to push your Cake Island? Why, I drank the potion, so what do I tell you to do? When the ant heard this, she suddenly laughed. Could it be that you still want me to vomit? Are you so capable, Whitebeard? Old guy, I know you have money, but you talk to me like that. The ant looked at the chunky 5 elders with a nasty expression, her eyes dangerous. Are you not afraid of not going back to Marijoy? The dialogue between several bigwigs not only shocked the rest of the audience, but also shocked the people who watched the live broadcast. Just when they thought so, the people in the VIP room on the second floor started shouting. I bid 3 billion Baileys, 5 elders said, and he glanced at his aunt indifferently. Charlotte Linlin, you want to drink this bottle of elixir too? Dreaming? Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. I'm bidding 2.1 billion Baileys, Whitebeard said, and he shouted with a heavy face. This price, after he had already photographed a bottle of healing potion, was close to the limit he could take out, but look. The situation, this bottle of potion must be more than this price. It is estimated that others will shout higher. The key is that 5 elders has not spoken yet. Thinking, Whitebeard first glanced at the other 2 kings and then silently glanced at it. The location of 5 elders, Chapter 124, Morgan's bids, final fight. How can I be missing from such a lively thing? Kaido gave a weird smile. Auntie, it seems that you are a soft persimmon. People just ask you to pinch it. Why can't I look down on my beast's pirates, or I take the initiative, go to the door? The words of these people were full of gunpowder, but everyone heard it. 5 elders uttered cruel words to the ant, but they provoked the same enemies of the other 2 kings. Although these big brothers are a little bit dirty with each other in New World, sometimes even smash the head, but when faced with foreign enemies, how united. The red-haired Shanks on the side was not surprised. The relationship between these 3 is not that simple. They used to be fellows on Rock's pirate. The hostile relationship, but when facing outsiders, he said that he would join hands, and he was no exception at all. However, although his red hair is not from a Rock's pirate member like these 3, he is also a trainee crew member of the Roger Pirates, and there is such a slight connection with these 3. Good. Therefore, the red hair also spoke. I am also a New World pirate, although my red hair pirates is not as big as the 3, there is a big gap in strength, but how can I say that I am also a member of New World? This is people come to the door with bullies, so you can't be a tortoise with your head. How many people, don't you mind taking me with you then? Ha ha ha, my little brother, if you want to join in, I am welcome first. Whitebeard laughed and looked at the red hair and said, however, New World speaks based on your strength. Only when you show your strength will you be recognized by us. That's easy. The red hair smiled calmly. Isn't this 5 elders master sending a warship to New World to push the Cake Island? How about I take the lead and give the 3 adults a try on Marine's strength? Little brother has courage. The ant laughed and nodded in agreement. Well, let's practice when we have time, Kaido said indifferently. 5 elders was in the VIP room. Looking at the appearance of a few people alone, the short and squat 5 elders' face was very ugly, and he slammed the fence and shouted. Presumptuous. You guys, you group of pirates, sooner or later, I want you all exterminate, all imprisoned to impel down prison. Oh, I'm so scared. Kaido laughed awkwardly, arrogantly, and didn't put the threat of 5 elders in his eyes. This appearance made 5 elders angry even more. Advertisement, are you still bidding? This has become a place for you to fight? At this moment, suddenly, a light and fluttering voice came from the largest VIP room, quieting the noise of the audience. Mr. Walker, continue the auction. Ronan's voice was an understatement, but everyone heard it. Even 5 elders did not dare to continue arguing. 5 elders raised their voice and shouted at Walker, "Auctionist, since no one bids, is this bottle of potion mine? Hurry up and announce it." Well, the world government bid 3 billion Baileys. Has anyone else bid? 3 billion for the first time. Walker hurriedly yelled that Ronan was urging him. Where would he dare to continue watching the show? Although it was interesting to watch these big guys quarrel, he still didn't dare not listen to Ronan's words. I, Morgans, bid 4 billion Baileys. At this moment, a man sitting in the hall got up and shouted. This man was no one else but Morgans, the president of the World News. He said then, took off the black top hat, smiled and saluted everyone. I also want this bottle of potion. The longevity potion. It will increase the lifespan by 100 years. It is so attractive. Morgans. The others didn't have any ideas yet, but 5 elders suddenly darkened their faces. The world government and Morgans are also a cooperative relationship. Morgans is not a subordinate organization of the world government. At this moment, Morgans C came out and kicked him a little bit by surprise. Mr. Morgans bid 4 billion Baileys. Walker yelled, with excitement. Anyone else bidding? Is there any more? 5 billion Baileys. 5 elders hates Morgans to death. As one of the kings of the new world, the opponent is powerful. Although his own strength is not very good, no one has even seen Morgans take action. However, its personal connections are heaven-defying, and it has cooperation with the world government itself, with the major celestial dragons families, and also with New World's big pirate groups, plus it has more than 90% of the world's media. It's really not bad money. Since he spoke up, then among all the people present, it can be regarded as one of the few people who can compete with him. 6 billion Baileys, Morgans continued, then glanced at 5 elders, and said sincerely, Master 5 elders, I hope you don't mind, I really need this bottle of potion, if I can. 8 billion Baileys. My boy. Jelina's mouth twitched. Robin, how much did we drink? At this moment, Morgans looked up, and the eyes on the bird's head were full of laments. He opened his mouth and said, I bid 8.5 billion Baileys, Lord 5 elders, this is the highest price I can pay. Yes, if you bid again, even if it is only 100 million more Baileys, then you can take this potion. I count. Robin on the side also twitched his eyes. My mother, me, you, and Karuman, not Ronan's, each of us is 8 billion Baileys, this just over 30 billion Baileys went down, my god, are we drinking gold? Advertisement, 8 billion Baileys. Master 5 Elders is really rich. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Humpty 5 Elders interrupted Morgans' words and directly bid 8 billion Baileys, and suddenly added 2 billion Baileys, which shocked everyone at the scene, so ruthless, and suddenly increased the price. So many, it's really not taking money as money. Morgans became silent, and Walker on the stage urged. No. Gold is not so valuable. Karuman wiped the sweat on his forehead. At such a price, even the big figures at the scene were shocked, not to mention the ordinary people watching the live broadcast. They are all looking stupid at the moment. 8 billion Baileys. How much is it? All of them are stupid. Looking at the live broadcast blankly, they could no longer imagine how precious this potion is. Is it really worth 8 billion Baileys? And in the VIP room where Ronan was, Robin and others were also frightened by the terrible price. All the girls stood there in a daze, except for Dana. All of them were stupid. They were all silly. People who have already drunk the longevity potion, think about it. They drank the longevity potion worth 8 billion Baileys. How many people will take it down one bottle? How much does it cost? The world is so chaotic, where pirates live and dead are common. When pirates invaded the major islands and major countries, the civilians did not die. I have to say that the price of 8 billion Baileys really scared Morgans. This price has almost reached his limit. Should we continue to bid? Dana on the side looked at a few girls in a daze, and didn't understand what they were talking about. If the lives of ordinary people can be exchanged for the ruler's 100-year lifespan, let alone 1,000 or 800, 180,000 is probably no problem. The 5 elders of the world government bid 8 billion Baileys. This is the first time for 8 billion Baileys. Is anyone still bidding? 8 billion Baileys for the second time. Ronan, on the other hand, looked indifferent and calm, but looked at the girls with a smile on the corners of his mouth. After shook his head slightly, he continued to turn his head and look into the field. I wonder if Morgans will face the terrifying price of 5 elders. Follow along. The money that the pirates looted at a time is just tens of millions of Baileys. Human lives are so worthless. Why is this medicine that can increase the lifespan of 100 years is so valuable? These ordinary people don't understand. How can the lives of these ordinary people be compared with the big ones? Chapter 125. 8.6 billion Baileys. It's over. The field fell into silence again, and everyone's eyes focused on the chunky 5 elders. Morgans forcibly raised the price of the potion to the high price of 8.5 billion Baileys, depending on whether 5 elders would follow suit. If you don't follow along, this bottle of longevity potion will officially fall into the hands of Morgans. Everyone had to sigh. He deserves to be the president of the world's largest newspaper. When he strikes the world, he can compete with him. There is only 5 elders in the field. 8.6 billion Baileys. A deep voice came from the second floor. It was 5 elders who made an offer. After a period of silence, they increased the price by 100 million Baileys and 8.6 billion Baileys, which was forced to grab the medicine from Vice Admiral from Morgan's, down. Well, congratulations, Lord Five Elders. Morgan sighed and shook his head brainlessly. Sure enough, it is still too difficult to compete with the world government, and the world government is not afraid of anyone competing for financial resources. Announce it. Five elders shouted at Walker on the stage, and then sat firmly on the seat, expressionless. Ah, good. Walker froze for a moment, and then shouted, anyone else bid? If no one, this bottle of potion will be owned by the world government? After waiting for a while, there was still no one to bid. Walker knew that it was true that no one would bid again. The price of 8.6 billion Baileys is really terrifying. Who else can compete with it? No one is there. Then, congratulations to world government, and congratulations to Lord Five Elders for getting this bottle of longevity potion. As Walker's announcement fell, today's top auction in the world was officially over. Advertisement at the end of the auction, everyone in the field began to lively, and they all talked about it, lamenting that the world government is really rich. The movement of people gradually dispersed, walking out of the auction house. Some people went shopping around in the City of Water, and some hurriedly left, for fear of being targeted by others, you know, but most of the pirates come here. They dare not too much make a stay to prevent being caught by Marine. Of course, this is for the less powerful pirates, and for the leader of the top pirate group, as well as some powerful pirates, there is no fear at all. Garcia even booked a dinner at a big hotel to receive big guys from all over the world. Although not all big guys attended, it was also a good opportunity to get to know people, at least a few from New World. All the kings took part to save face, and several kings and big pirates were there. Even if some people are in a hostile relationship with each other, they also showed great restraint at the banquet, and nothing unpleasant happened. With the passage of time, the influence of this sensational auction has gradually faded, and the people of the world are no longer discussing Tenten as before. They all have things to do. As for the City of Water, as the staff left, they gradually returned to their usual appearance, but many businesses also took advantage of this wave of opportunities to make a lot of money. Ronan is the biggest winner of this auction. 2 supreme knives, 10 bottles of healing potions, and longevity potions were sold for a total of more than 20 billion. Garcia is also considered conscious and very conscious. After deducting a fraction of a few hundred million Baileys handling fees, he handed over 20 billion Baileys in cash to Ronan, which made Ronan very satisfied. He knew that this was Garcia's favor to him. In general, the auction house would charge a commission of at least 15 to 20%. The total price of Ronan's auction this time was nearly 21 billion. In such a proportion, Garcia has to charge a commission of at least 4 billion Baileys or more, but he actually only charged Ronan for less than 1 billion Baileys, but he did not do so. Of course, Ronan has a great affection for him. Zhang, thinking that if there is a chance to auction other things in the future, he will continue to look for him. Of course, it was impossible to bring the 20 billion Baileys with him. The people at the bank contacted Ronan as soon as possible, begging Ronan to save money just like his father and grandma. To be honest, the shareholders behind this bank are the major families of celestial dragons. Ronan really didn't want to deposit the money in this bank at first, but the people at the bank also said that the shareholders of celestial dragons are major families and personnel. There are many, with only the right to distribute dividends and not much management power, and 30% of the shareholders are major franchisees. Even if Ronan and celestial dragons become enemies in the future, the bank will not dare to freeze Ronan's funds. Ronan finally deposited the money in the bank, but instead of depositing all of it, he deposited 18 billion Baileys, leaving 2 billion, of which 1.9 billion Baileys will be handed over to Tom to build Pluton. The remaining 1 billion Bailey is the activity fund of the Traveler Pirate Group. Wow, rich, rich, we are completely rich. In the hotel, Robin, Elena and others cheered and felt that they were really rich. Not to mention the 18 billion bank deposits. They just used 1 billion in cash and just used them. They really wanted to buy anything. Just buy what you don't need to save it all. Advertisement, Karuman, shall we go shopping later? Robin pulled Karuman up and said, we will call Dana later, let's go shopping together. Okay, Captain Ronan has already said, let us spend it, 1 billion Baileys. I don't know how long it will take to spend it, Karuman also said excitedly. Hey, Ronan said, there are still 18 billion Baileys left in the bank. Robin chuckled, I really didn't expect this medicine to be so valuable, not to mention the sky-high price. The longevity potion, the healing potion, is close to 1 billion Baileys. My god, those people were crazy when they bid. I didn't expect it either, Elena said shockingly. Now think about it, each of us has the potion given by Captain Ronan, a bottle of healing potion, a bottle of physical potion, and a bottle of psychotropic potion. This is at least 1 billion Baileys. Come on, I just don't know whether physical potions and psychotropic potions are worth any money. It must be valuable. Even if there is no precious healing potion in the end, it is still a very powerful potion. The stamina potion can instantly restore a tired person to the peak. How can such a powerful potion be not precious? Robin said. Yes, there are also psychoactive potions, which don't seem to be very good to us, but they are also very precious to those in special needs. Karuman nodded and said. Let's go shopping, Robin said eagerly. I'll call Dana. Karuman said quickly. I'm going to call Mom with me. Robin got up and left, walking towards Orovia's location. By the way, what about the captain? Yelena shouted. It seems that someone is coming to visit him. He is meeting in the large living room upstairs. Robin's voice came from a distance. Chapter 126. Whitebeard red-haired Aunt Kaido is visiting. Accompanied by Morgans and Garcia, the three veteran kings of New World and Shanks, the newly recognized king by the three kings, came to Ronan's hotel and met in the conference room on the top floor of the hotel. Ha ha ha, I've heard of your name for a long time, Ronan. As soon as we met and sat down, Whitebeard laughed and said, although we are far away in New World, but in the past 2 years, your deeds are spread all over the world. We at New World don't know how many young people admire you. Whitebeard is right, Kaido followed, and while talking, he took the wine on the table and sipped. I wanted to see you a long time ago. Ronan, you are really that powerful? We have time to practice? I am happy to accompany you, wait any time. Ronan smiled lightly. Whether Kaido is a joke or a real story, Ronan won't be afraid anymore. Kaido, you fighting freak, you are not here to fight today, don't break the atmosphere. The ant said on the side. The few people who came this time did not bring anyone else. First of all, the people here are the kings, the juniors in the family. They are not qualified to come here, another one. They are here this time but want to reach some agreement with Ronan, so they should keep it confidential. The ant makes sense. The Redhair also spoke. He said slowly. We're here this time. There are some things we want to talk to you, Ronan, although you have never been to New World, we have always watched you. Cheng is ours. Several of us hope to reach an alliance agreement with you. I wonder what you think? If you can, how about us? Garcia and Morgans looked at each other and spoke quickly. What fun are you two getting together? Whitebeard waved his hand. The covenant between our pirates has nothing to do with you, just do your business. Not bad. The ant said in a deep voice. You two, Morgans and Celestial Dragons have a great cooperative relationship. It's not appropriate to blend in rashly. Advertisement. Ronan killed 4 Celestial Dragons some time ago. If you really form an alliance with us, it won't be easy to do in the future. Kaido smiled and looked at Morgans. Morgunston calmed down. Indeed, although this covenant agreement can be kept secret for a short time, it will definitely leak out after a long time. In other words, after the covenant is reached, one party will have difficulties in the future, and others will definitely have to rush to help. When these people provoke Celestial Dragons or World Government and Marine, what will he do? If he rushes to help, the cooperation with Celestial Dragons will definitely be hindered. If he doesn't rush to help, what do you want you to do to join the covenant? Okay. Morgans thought for a while and said, I think too much, sorry, a few people. Let's go, I will leave for a while, when your talk is over, we will have a meal together. As for this matter, how many people should believe in my character, right? Call the Emperor. Ronan was taken aback. Sure enough, these people were about to become emperors. Although Ronan didn't know when the title of 4 emperors in the original work began to be called, there are still almost 18 years before the original plot began. In any case, the time has not come. It seems that because of my own reasons, the plot has changed a lot. Of course not, yes, be the emperor. Kaido replied boldly. I have waited for a few people after years of battle, and it's time to become the emperor. At that time, the New World Emperor will compete with Admiral of Headquarters and face the pressure of Marine together. Seeing the two leaving, they looked at each other. Whitebeard looked at Ronan again and said, Ronan, we want to know what you mean. What do you think of such a covenant? If we can talk, we will continue. Let's talk about it. If we can't, how about we talk about something else? Whitebeard continued. A few of us had already passed our breath before we came here. Advertisement. In the current New World, about 50% of the territory is divided by the 4 of us, and 30% are major countries. Some of these countries are allies that have joined the world government, and 20% are territories that no one takes. Occupied by some other kings. At present, the 3 of us occupy the most, and the redheads occupy relatively less. Whitebeard said. After looking at Shanks, Shanks also nodded, and he was helpless. Guy can't compare, his rise time is too short. When the two saw this, they were a little bit at a loss. They couldn't help but grab the sight. It all depends on who has the bigger fist. This is also because our previous civil wars seriously consumed our own strength, the ant said in a deep voice, although I didn't take the initiative to initiate the war, but you two militants often fight. Then, the ant gave Whitebeard and Kaido a glance. Well, we are the only ones left. Well, it depends on Ronan's own thoughts. Whitebeard looked at Ronan and said, Ronan, tell me your own opinion. Our division of interests on this is just a simple idea, everyone. It's easier to talk on the bright side, it's better than we fight ourselves to the end, let Marine pick up the bargain, right? Morgans got up, Garcia also looked regretful on the side, and finally sighed and followed Morgans to leave. This guy is not a fool, nor is he foolish enough to leak these news at will. Your Morgans' character is certainly worthy of trust. Whitebeard laughed and nodded, we believe you won't talk nonsense, don't worry. Hearing that, other people also nodded in agreement. Morgans is a person who can go from side to side among the major forces. Many forces are still enemies. It can be seen how powerful this person is and is worthy of so many people. The quality is certainly not bad. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. What we mean is that after you come to New World, our respective pirate groups will help you occupy some territories, and select some of those countries that have not joined the world government to attack, and then find a way to fight from those who are unmanned. Take down some of the places you have as your territory. In the future, the 5 of us will be crowned emperors in New World. Ronan thought for a while, looked around, and put the expressions of the 4 people in his eyes, and said with a serious face. Of course it is possible to talk, but I don't know how you want to do it. Let me talk about it, I will think about it again. It is impossible to pay if you don't talk, let me agree first, right? Shanks on the side looked at a few people with interest, and while drinking, he said, although my side is not as big as 3, it is not too small. Compared with several pirates, Redhair pirates, the high-end combat power or the number of personnel is a bit different, and it is normal that it is not as good as yours. However, if Ronan comes, his strength alone will be enough to suppress the entire New World, and his territory cannot be arbitrary. Chapter 127 New World is the Emperor? The Five Emperors Covenant? Ronan heard that now, he has understood the general situation from the words of several people. These people want to be called the Emperor, and do not want to fight inwardly. They said that the Queen will be against Marine Admiral. When the Marine fleet arrives, they can agree. Externally, Marine is tough. Of course, it's not that the Queen will not fight inwardly. It is estimated that wars will still be triggered because of the territory in the future, but at that time it was not a life and death war, but local wars. Ronan did not know if there was a so-called covenant between the 4 emperors in the original plot, but now, because of him, the 4 came to negotiate a covenant with him. After thinking about it, he responded. You call the Emperor and rule. Is the area limited to New World only? Yes. Several people said for granted, and then Whitebeard looked at Ronan with a strange expression. Ronan, you don't want to play New World, do you? I can make it clear to you, don't think you have fought fiercely with the world government several times. Take a lot of advantage, don't be small. The world government's whole cards are not only Marine, but also the CP organization, Science Department, etc. These are hidden powers hidden in the dark, and they should not be underestimated. Yes, even the highest power controller of the world government is not necessarily 5 elders. I understand. Ronan moved in his heart and glanced at Whitebeard. It seems that these guys are not fools, and they know a lot of secret information about world government, and yes, if you don't know enough, how can you be so good at New World? It might have been killed by secret forces dispatched by the world government long ago. As the world's highest ruling institution, world government is not only as simple as it seems, it has more than 100 franchisees alone. Hongfa said in a deep voice, not to mention the more than 100 franchisees, the government itself is also very powerful, and there is a powerful figure above 5 elders, who is heard to control the secrets of ancient weapons. This is also the reason why many large pirates, including us, dare not touch celestial dragons. Celestial dragons are all waste. Kaido said disdainfully, if it weren't for the hidden power in the hands of the world government, just relying on the waste materials to show off their power. Humph, Lousy would have torn them up and feed the fish. In that case, I killed 4 celestial dragons before, aren't you afraid that it will hurt you? Advertisement, Ronan said with a smile, in case the world government really holds the power of ancient weapon, then because I hurt you, can you resist it? We are indeed gambled, Whitebeard said sternly. The world government has the ancient weapon, and even the 3 ancient weapon masters are in their hands. However, even so, we are in New World. It is not so easy for them to deal with us. And with your joining, our strength will grow stronger, and we won't lose to them so easily. That is, who is strong and who is weak, we still have to fight before we know it, Kaido snorted. We don't dare to take the lead if we think that the world government has a whole card, then what is the big pirate? Isn't it very comfortable to do that, Shichibukai? Shichibukai? Haha, it's just the world government's policy of dividing the pirates. The ant said disdainfully. They themselves didn't expect all Shichibukai to be obedient. Those guys are also born as big pirates. Where can they be commanded so well? Isn't he a fool who will give the world government his life? Shichibukai's policy did have some suppressive effects on the pirate forces, but as long as the kings of New World are still there will be no big impact. The Redhair said, it's just a pity that the 2 former emperors, Rox and Captain Roger, if they are still there, a single order would be enough to give orders to 90% of the pirates. If they are still there, where is our current position? The ant whispered, indeed, if Rox is still there, whether it is Whitebeard, Kaido or herself, they will only be a member of Rox Pirate. Where is the present freedom? Each became the head of a party, holding great power and being free. Indeed, if Captain Roger is still there, I will still be his crew and won't create Redhair pirates. Redhair said, but even so, I will. Roger's death is also of great benefit. Kaido smiled. It is because of his death that the era of pirates began. In this era, new pirate groups are emerging endlessly, and many young people have their life goals to become pirates. His words can be very influential. I suspect this guy is purely a fool. Where is Raftel? Who knows? Although she said that, the ant's eyes turned towards the Redhair unconsciously. As a member of the Roger crew, the Redhair must have been there with Roger. Raftel's right. The red-haired felt the ant's sight and couldn't help but shook his head and smiled bitterly. It seems that these guys have hit their minds, but it's a pity. Whitebeard waved his hand, interrupted the conversation of several people, and turned his gaze on Ronan. Ronan, I have said something, and we have agreed to the benefits that should be given. What do you think? Advertisement, with me, that's the 5 emperors, right? Ronan asked. Yes. Several people nodded. Okay, I promised. It seems not bad to be one of the 5 emperors of New World. Ronan smiled lightly. As for my sight and the like, I won't talk about that for the time being. I will talk about it when I get to New World. How? Ronan is confident that even if we don't talk about this now, when he arrives in New World, his own turf will be the best. Even if these people help him take the remaining 50% of the turf, it's not a big problem. All because of their own strength. Ha ha ha. Good. When Whitebeard saw this, he laughed suddenly, and everyone else also showed joy. Anyway, Ronan's strength lies there. With Ronan's participation, the name of the 5 emperors of New World is enough to shock the world, and they absolutely possess the relationship with Marine. The court resisted and even suppressed the momentum and strength of Marine. By then, New World would be an independent territory of 5 people, and the world government would not be able to intervene in anything. The entire New World would be under the rule of 5 people. And the 5 of them are extremely powerful big pirates. After the Covenant is formed, the power produced by the Alliance is earth-shattering. Even if the world government has a strong hole card, it can report to the group to warm up, and even counterattack the possibility of returning. At this point, the 5 people signed the formal 5 Emperors Covenant in the top-level conference room of the Hotel of the Water City. The Covenant stipulates that the 5 people will become the Emperor in New World. After the Emperor, the division of their respective territories will be negotiated by the 5 people. Internal battles can occur, but they must only be local wars. Once a powerful foreign enemy enters New World, they must join forces to meet the enemy. If one of the strengths is attacked by an external enemy, it can cope well. If it cannot cope, it has the right to enter, take refuge in other imperial territories. If a certain emperor is attacked by an external enemy, he can request assistance from other emperors, and other emperors must provide assistance. The general content of the Covenant is almost like this, but there are also some detailed rules, such as the level of assistance, what kind of attacks can be requested for assistance, the handling of internal disputes, etc. After a detailed discussion, it will take an afternoon. It was over, and it was not completely settled until the evening. The 5 people signed the Covenant Agreement and collected 5 copies. So far, the 5 Emperors Covenant, officially signed. Chapter 128. The 5 Emperors shocked the world. The franchise is furious. The 5 Emperors Covenant was signed in private, and the outside world did not know that New World ushered in its 5 rulers, one of whom had never even been to New World, and is still in the first half of the water capital of the Grand Line. Ronan continued to stay in the water city and did not set off immediately because his ship has not been built yet. During this time, he was busy communicating with Tom. Tom's shipyard received capital injection, and the entire factory was busy for a while, purchasing various materials, the most precious of which is the purchase of the keel. After spending a lot of money, I finally bought a huge treasure tree, atom, wood, and finally the whole ship can be officially launched. On the other hand, after the 4 emperors returned to the New World, they formally announced the 5 Emperors Covenant. When this covenant came out, the world was shaken. The 4 kings launched a joint operation in New World. The 4 large pirates crossed New World and expelled all the remaining marine forces. Then they did not want to attack other places, but instead worked together to consolidate their own territory and suppress other large pirates, regiments, and the major resistance forces. Without the support of the marine forces, the resistance forces composed of certain subjugators lacked all kinds of support, such as financial support and various weapon support. The 4 great pirates began to consolidate their territory faster, and their forces grew stronger. At the same time, there are heated discussions on this issue from the outside world. Many participating countries have lodged solemn protests on the matter to the world government and demanded that the world government respond. The 4 emperors must not be allowed to trample on the majesty of the world government so recklessly. They are also a member of the world government. The most active ones are of course the franchise countries located in New World. After all, they are the bridgehead facing the 4 emperors and the most dangerous place. Marijoy immediately started a discussion. The 5 elders were even more furious about the so-called 5 Emperors Covenant. This is a good idea. The 4 kings of New World actually got involved with Ronan. Originally, 1 Ronan was enough for them to have a headache. Now, there are 5. It's really that the house leaks and rains all night, which is terrible. In the Marijoy conference hall, 5 elders invited many envoys from the participating countries stationed in Marijoy to attend the meeting. The layout of this meeting is very high. Even if it is not comparable to the World Summit, it is not much worse. In the noisy conference hall, countless envoys from the major franchise countries whispered and discussed, and the dozens of New World franchise countries were loud and hysterical. Advertisement: we must send troops. Naval headquarters must send troops to deal with the so-called 5 emperors. Among the 5 great pirates, except that Ronan is in the first half of the Grand Line, and his pirate group is weak, don't worry, the other 4 people can be small. Look, 3 of them, Whitebeard Kaido and Charlotte Linlin, are all former Rock's pirate members. Even the new Emperor Red-haired Shanks was once Roger's crew member. You must not underestimate it. An angry fat messenger slapped the table and shouted. We must now unite and deal with these guys together, otherwise, once our New World franchise is breached, the power of these big pirates will rise by leaps and bounds. At that time, the entire New World was their territory. Would you like to see such a scene? Upon hearing this, the other envoys who were not members of New World's franchise all looked solemn. A North Blue franchise envoy said in a deep voice, however, once the New World franchise is captured by the so-called 4 emperors, then they will have no worries. Once they develop, they will truly be New World Emperor, these 4 and Ronan, who will inevitably go to New World in the future. The name of the 5 emperors is not imaginary. To be more serious, the 5 emperors have the ability to overthrow the world government. Hey, you guys are making a fuss too much. However, some people didn't take it seriously. An envoy from South Blue said lightly, even if they completely occupy New World, not to mention the chaos in New World. There are so many countries and major underground forces, it's not them. If they want to occupy it, they are so easy to occupy. Even if they do, they can only guard New World, and they dare not make it. There are calm belts on both sides of the New World waters. They still dare to pass through the calm belt. Sea Kings will teach them how to be human. Not bad. Another South Blue member country's envoy also spoke in support of the previous South Blue member country's ambassador. Not to mention the calm belt, the two sides of the New World Sea cannot be easily passed. There is a red line barrier, naval headquarters and land countries are stationed. They can still. Is it impossible to fight ashore? The pirate regiments that have landed are not much stronger. The strength of a land country is not what they can compare. Any country has more troops than their 10 large pirate regiments. Do they dare to come? I said so, but what if they dominate New World completely, conscript on the islands of New World, expand their forces and then log in to fight? A West Blue franchise envoy frowned and said, I really want to give them time to develop. It's not good news for all our participating countries. Also, you all know the situation of the sea now, because the words of Roger before his death spread all over the world. The young people in all areas of the sea yearn for the sea and the pirates. There are countless young people at every moment. People go to sea. Among these people, there are many young talents and powerful people. The most outstanding of them is West Blue Ronan. He is now the 5 emperors of New World, and he has become the idol of countless young people. It is the fresh blood of those big sea pirates in the future. The West Blue franchise envoy still supports the New World envoy very much. He also advocates an immediate conquest of New World and must not allow the 4 emperors to develop. And the dozens of New World envoys who joined the New World countries were overjoyed when they heard the words of the West Blue ambassador, and once again opened up and started arguing loudly. The purpose is to get other countries to support them, send troops to New World, and finally fight world. The government put pressure on it to unite all the participating countries and support the military operations of naval headquarters. 5 elders are also discussing. Advertisement, unexpectedly, Ronan would collude with the 4 kings of New World. The tall and thin 5 elders said with a gloomy face, although his strength is strong, his power is his biggest shortcoming. The traveler pirates is even more so. 3 or 2 kittens have never been seen by us, but now they're different. With his personal strength, he has become one of the 5 emperors. The combination of these 5 forces cannot be underestimated. Then you mean, you agree to use troops against New World? The tall and strong 5 elders frowned and asked. During this period of time, Marine has suffered heavy losses due to the previous dealings with Ronan. He is recuperating, plus New World's the Marine fleet garrison was driven and killed by the 4 emperors. Marine has suffered a lot. Now the strength of each Marine unit is greatly damaged. Shall we discuss it again? What else to discuss? The chunky 5 elders interjected. The 4 emperors have all bullied us, and if we retreat, the franchise countries have rebelled. Those New World franchise countries are facing the 4 emperors. If they are really captured, what do other members of the Congress think of us? This is the same reason, then, we agree to use troops? I agree. I think I need to discuss it again. I abstain. 4 votes agree and 1 abstention. This resolution is passed. The next step is to communicate with the major franchise countries so that they can contribute money and help to strengthen Marine. Chunky 5 elders said solemnly, notify naval headquarters, seize the time to fix and strengthen the strength. 3 months later, when preparing to send troops to New World, we must completely contain the so-called 5 emperors' power. Yes, they must not let their reputation grow. If things go on like this, it will pose a huge threat to the rule of our world government. Chapter 129 After March. Conquer 4 emperors. In order to cope with the coming war, the world government passed a resolution that all major franchisees must fully support the development of Marine, contribute people and money, and continue to strengthen the development of Marine's power. A period of 3 months, time is indeed a little tight, but this there is no other way. The New World situation is very critical. They can't give too much time for the 4 emperors to develop. They must step up time to deal with it. In addition to Marine's vigorous development, the world government has also vigorously promoted the process of the 7 warlords of the sea policy, vigorously recruiting those who are extremely powerful and are in the second echelon of the pirates, and even those who are powerful. Lone Ranger grade pirates, with the cancellation of huge rewards and the recognition of their status and rights by the world government as their capital, win over these grade pirates. After Ronan learned about it, he checked the Shichibukai list on the news and found that most of them did not know them. They were not the Shichibukai members in the original work at all. It is still early, and the Shichibukai members of later generations are probably still there. Low-key development. Where is the qualification to become Shichibukai? Even the veteran Shichibukai and Jinbei from Mermaid Island are not on the list. Ronan couldn't help but sigh secretly. Because of his own reasons, he changed the progress of the plot again, and he didn't know if the Shichibukai in later generations would have a chance to rise to the top. Ronan put down the newspaper and got up to go to Tom's shipyard. During this time, he would go to the shipyard to check the progress of the construction when he was free. Tom deserves to be a master craftsman, even a super difficult ship like Pluton. He is still able to lead other craftsmen to make it smoothly. Currently, the keel shaping work is in full swing. Various other materials have been purchased and the construction work is very smooth. Even if Ronan killed 4 celestial dragons before, which aroused strong condemnation from the world government, and even increased his reward to 10 billion Baileys, no one came to fight him. No, it should be said that it was not nobody dared to come, but in the previous period of time, there were too many bounty hunters dead, which completely frightened other bounty hunters. After that auction, many bounty hunters came and mixed in the Water City, waiting for the opportunity to start at Ronan. Unfortunately, Ronan's observation Haki level was very high. These guys were even killed by Ronan just after they took the shot. After the wave came down, nearly 100 bounty hunters died, completely scaring these guys who saw the money with their eyes open. As for working towards other people, not to mention that the bounty of Elena and others cannot be compared with Ronan at all, only tens of millions of Baileys, they are not without the slightest strength to protect themselves, and there are some Ronan gave them. As a means of life-saving, they will not run around, and will not encounter any fatal danger at all. Even if bounty hunters occasionally attack them, they are just training them. Time passed in this way. In a blink of an eye, 3 months passed. On this day, the world government finally issued a newspaper article condemning New World 4 emperors. Well, it did not count the other emperor Ronan, because Luonan himself is still in the water capital, not in New World. They want to send troops to New World, just to exclude Ronan, in order to split the 5 emperors' covenant. The world government issued a document accusing the 4 emperors of recklessly acting in New World, killing civilians, conquering countless countries and island territories, causing huge casualties and deeds, and announced that they can send troops to New World, crusade New World 4 emperors, and return New World people. A peaceful living environment. The New World 4 emperors are not fools, they can even be said to be very shrewd. 3 months ago, they had learned about all the things that happened at Merijoice's meeting specifically for them through various means. Now that they knew everything, they didn't do anything during these 3 months. Marine is developing vigorously with the support of the major franchise countries of the world government. 7 warlords of the sea is full. The 7 former great pirates have become the warlords of the world government. They will accompany the 2 admirals of Marine and the vice admiral together. Send troops to the New World to start a conquest against the New World 4 emperors. The other 2 major organizations under the world government, the CP organization, will provide intelligence support, and Eni's lobby will be responsible for the trial and imprisonment of the captured pirates. The 4 emperors knew this information clearly, so how could they not make any preparations? Advertisement on New World, on the mobile, the 4 emperors gathered on the flagship of Whitebeard and opened the 4 emperors meeting. From the information we have obtained, Naval Headquarters will send Zephyr Admiral and Sengoku Admiral, as well as the Garp Vice Admiral who still holds the position of Vice Admiral and does not advance to Admiral, and together lead 3 huge fleets to send troops to New World to fight our 4 emperors. The forces start a conquest. The time is on the 5th of this month. Whitebeard took a piece of paper from a team leader next to him. The densely written information on the paper was related to Marine's trends. This information was sent by the 4 emperors, who were lurking in Marine and from the major franchise countries, aggregated information. The 5th? It's the end of the month now, Hongfa said in a deep voice, then there is not much time until they send troops. We have prepared a lot before, and the big pirate groups even received a lot of recruits, just for that. To deal with this war, come if you want, why are you afraid of them? Ha ha ha, yeah, what are you afraid of? Kaido laughed at the words, beasts pirates, can't wait, let the world take a good look. The so-called Marine is just a bunch of fragile waste. Don't be too careless, the ant said, this time, not only the 3 major fleets of Marine, but also the people from Shichibukai. Huh, they are just some traitors who have forgotten righteousness. Kaido said disdainfully. Those guys joined Shichibukai and became the minions of the world government. They're just used cannon fodder. Even cannon fodder, the strength cannot be underestimated. The ant said solemnly. Among Shichibukai, except for 2 lone rangers and great pirates, they only have strong individual strength. The other 5 are all with pirate groups or even forces. The largest one, the number of pirates is already close to the number of Redhair pirates among us. When the Redhair heard the words, he smiled indifferently, it's just that the number of people is close. I really want to fight. I am not afraid of this so-called Shichibukai. My Redhair pirates is no better than the 3 of you, but it is stronger than this Shichibukai's largest pirate group. Less. A lot of ants kill elephants. Shichibukai and the 3 major fleets of Marine, combined with this strength, are definitely not worse than our 4 emperors. Whitebeard also said cautiously, by the way, do you have any contact with Ronan? Well, I contacted him once before. Kaido opened his mouth and said, according to the 5 emperors' covenant, the 4 of us were attacked by the world government. As one of the 5 emperors, he must provide support when we request support. Chapter 130 Ronan's support. War Kai. Ronan's personal strength is strong, but what he meant, he would not leave from the water city. The ant narrowed her eyes and said, this guy doesn't know what to do in the water city. You have this aspect, news? It seems to be building a new ship. His previous ship was damaged. Whitebeard shook his head and said, it is indeed a problem to have no good ships, and it is no wonder that he did not come to support us. If you are alone, even if he is strong, it is still a problem. Doesn't make much difference, right? Speaking of, his so-called Traveler Pirates group has only a few women. What role can it do? Kaido said carelessly, his biggest role is his own strength. I think we should ask him to come and support him personally. With him, 5 of our top powerhouses are in New World, 3 Marine Admiral class combat power and 7 Shichibukai. These 10 people are no problem for us to deal with too. The king is against the king and the general, the pirate below. We have no problem dealing with sea soldiers, and they can definitely withstand this world government's attack. But he doesn't want to come, the ant sighed. I also contacted him before. He said that he would provide other support, but he would not come. If you have support. Whitebeard's heart moved. What is his support? Potion. Redhead opened his mouth and said, when I contacted him, he promised to provide us with medicine support, including 4 bottles of healing potions, 1 bottle for each of the 4 of us, 10 bottles of physical potions, and 10 bottles of psychotropic potions. Yibili's financial support. Oh, upon hearing this, the other three were taken aback, and then all of them showed joy. They knew the effect of the healing potion. Among them, Whitebeard knew more than the others, because of the other three the medicine that was taken was still preserved and was not used, and Whitebeard had already used the medicine because of his own injuries. The effect was indeed heaven-defying, which directly restored all his injuries, even his entire body. It's like returning to the peak state of the youngest period. Therefore, he understands better than anyone the preciousness of the 4 bottles of healing potions that Ronan supports. If calculated according to the price, these 4 bottles of potions are close to 4 billion Baileys support. Not to mention that Ronan also supported 5 billion Baileys in cash. However, what makes a few people a little puzzled is what the so-called physical medicine and psychoactive medicine are. I know you definitely want to ask, what kind of potions are physical potions and psychotropic potions, and how effective are they? The Redhair said with a smile. According to Ronan, physical potions can be consumed by an exhausted person. The physical strength instantly returned to its peak state, and the same is true for the psychoactive potions, except that the mental state was restored. And I have sent Beckman to the Water City to retrieve the things Ronan promised to support. I will be back, and everyone will know the effect of the potion by then. Oh, there is such a potion? Advertisement. Others suddenly became curious. This Ronan has not exposed the existence of this kind of medicine before? From his description, although these 2 medicines are not as good as healing medicines, they are not as good as longevity medicines, but absolutely. It's not bad, it instantly restores physical and mental strength. This is like 2 strong people of the same level fighting each other to the end. It almost consumes physical and mental energy. One of them instantly returns to the state before the battle. The battle wins or loses. It's really good, the ant said happily. With this medicine in hand, we can do a lot more. Even if Ronan doesn't come, this gift is indeed very rich. 4 bottles healing potions, 20 bottles of mental and physical potions, and the 5 billion Baileys in cash. That's okay. This Ronan did abide by the 5 Emperors' Covenant, and he didn't commit our ******. The 5 Emperors' Covenant has closely linked the 5 of us together. Who else in this world can defeat us? Kaido also laughed loudly. Even if the battle is about to happen, I am confident that the world government can't beat us. Haha, then, everyone, go back and step up the deployment of troops. Ronan's support only increases our whole cards. When the real war is fought, we still have to rely on the confrontation at the bottom. Our high levels have to deal with the other high levels. If only our top team defeated the opponent and the bottom team lost, we would not be able to completely repel the 3 major fleets and the Shichibukai army. Whitebeard stood up and said loudly, after this battle, victory will completely belong to us in New World, and if we fail, our pirate group will be disbanded. Marine forces will completely suppress the pirate forces, and our dreams and aspirations will no longer exist. Everyone, work hard. Effort. Come on. Beat them. A few days later, Beckman returned and brought Ronan's support items. The 4 Emperors' fleet brought a large number of pirates towards Dressrosa. For a time, the entire sea was filled with the smell of gunpowder smoke. When the war broke out, even the fish in the sea were scared away, not to mention those brave sea kings who dared to come to the wild. Both sides were killed. The 2 parties are not in agreement, or they are just doing something, knowing in their hearts that the frontline call is a cutscene, and after the cutscene, the 2 sides formally go to war. With the passage of time, news about the war between the 2 sides has been continuously transmitted to all parts of the world through news and newspapers, so that people all over the world can eat melons together. Isn't it looking for death? Advertisement. The 4 emperors were not afraid, and immediately recoiled, fired the cannon with fierceness, and blasted the opponent. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. A few days later, the 2 men and horses finally met the 3 huge fleets sent by Naval Headquarters and the Shichibukai fleet at a distance of hundreds of nautical miles from this sea area. The 2 sides lined up on the sea and occupied a large area. On the surface of the sea, all the passing ships were driven away in the surrounding waters. And just 2 months after the war, the 2 sides broke out real fire, and the area where the war broke out also extended from that sea area to a large part of New World's territory, spreading, almost 1/3 of New World's territory. The seas are plunged into the cloud of war. In fact, there is no need to expel, those ships are also consciously staying away from this sea area. The 2 biggest forces in the world are going to start a large-scale war. Who dares to get involved? And on this day, finally, the battle that Morgans was looking forward to came, and the 2 Marine Admirals took the lead and attacked the territory occupied by the weakest Redhair pirates among the 4 emperors. A battle of high-end combat power began, and the world will watch this battle through Morgans World Live. To say that in this war, the most profitable, it must be Morgans. This guy relied on the war news. It can be said that he made a lot of money, he was happy all day, and sent 2 teams of reporters to settle in the 2 teams. In the team, they didn't rush forward, only shooting news on the ships that remained behind. This guy has completely tasted the sweetness since he opened the World Live broadcast on Ronan last time. Except for the war between ordinary pirates and seamen at the bottom, which is transmitted by ordinary newspaper news, the high-end combat power is all displayed in the form of live broadcast. 2 Marine Admiral and Vice Admiral made a speech, demanding that the 4 emperors surrender and accept the trial of the world government, otherwise there will be no good fruits. He even hoped that the war would be more intense, so that he could make a fortune with the newspaper. Shichibukai sits beside him, looking like a dogleg. The first is that the major fleets are dispersed, together with the Shichibukai fleet, relying on the superiority of the number of warships to encircle and press them, in an attempt to put pressure on the other side. After a short while, the leaders of the two sides started a dialogue. The four emperors shouted, asking Marine and Shichibukai to withdraw from the territory of New World Four Emperors, otherwise they would inevitably be given a severe blow and completely defeat the three major fleets in the Shichibukai fleet. Chapter 131 Redhair Fight Admiral. The whole card is turned over. Thus, under the attention of the people of the world, the war broke out. Sengoku and Zephyr, with two huge fleets consisting of a total of 72 warships, surrounded the main fleet of Redhair pirates, and blocked the Redhair pirates on a sea area of Redhair pirates. The two sides launched a fierce battle. The Marines and the pirates at the bottom fought fiercely together. Just like 2 against 1, the Marine fleet's firepower was higher than that of the pirates. As soon as they met, they defeated the Redhair pirates. Although the other 3 emperors received the call from Redhair, they couldn't rush over in a short time. They had to make Redhair insist on resisting the pressure. Whitebeard had already dispatched personnel to come to rescue. As a last resort, Redhair personally attacked and fought with the 2 admirals. The venue for their battle was a small desert island in this sea area, with an area of only a dozen square kilometers. Ha ha ha, Redhair, you can't escape this time. Zephyr stood on a huge rock and laughed. His right arm that had been repaired was raised up, and he shot directly at the Redhair. It's careless, you have seized the opportunity. The Redhair had a deep complexion and sharp eyes. Under the shaking figure, he escaped Zephyr's attack. He had already pulled out the saber griffin on his waist and was ready for the battle. Redhair, if you surrender now, I can call the shots and make you less guilty, Sengoku said from the side. I heard that you have a good relationship with Garp. Needless to say, when the Redhair heard this, he raised his brows and said disdainfully, I have not yet reached that point. If you want to catch me, then use your strength to speak. Humph. Zephyr heard the words and said angrily, if this is the case, then let you taste the taste of failure. Don't think that becoming the 5 emperors can be so arrogant. You are just the 3 people who used to make up the number. I made up the number? The redhead smiled. In a place like New World, if you don't have the strength, you don't even have the qualifications to make up the number. Sengoku's eyes condensed. Indeed, in a place like this, it can be valued by the Whitebeard trio and pulled into the 5 Emperors Covenant. It is absolutely impossible to say that the red-haired young man in front of him has no strength. Not only his personal strength, but from the fact that their 2 admirals led such a large fleet to attack, and the sturdy combat power of the pirates of Redhair pirates, the overall strength of the pirate group is also very powerful. It can't be described by making up numbers. If the 2 major fleets want to win, it is really difficult to achieve in a short time. Even if the fleet is large and the weapons are advanced, the opponent can fight and retreat, although there are casualties, but it is not fatal. If you want to completely defeat the opponent, you still have to capture the thief first, capture the king, and take down the person in front of you. Zephyr, let's do it. Sengoku took a deep breath, and then stared at him. Devil Fruit's ability has been used, and a majestic Buddha phantom appeared, suppressing the Redhair with a palm. Advertisement, drink. The Redhair screamed, and the long knife in his hand had been slashed out, but it was not at the big Buddha, but toward the front. Zephyr had already penetrated in, before Sengoku, and launched an attack towards the Redhair. The wall's fist struck, unparalleled in power. Boom. There was a loud noise and a huge roar, and 2 figures flew out backwards. Before the Redhair flying out had time to stand firmly, the palm of the big Buddha had fallen, and he had no time to make adjustments, and immediately blasted the palm of the big Buddha with his backhand. Boom. The earth shattered and the ground collapsed. The red-haired figure was shot under the ground by the palm of the big Buddha. In the cracks of the earth, the seawater rolled, and the Redhair was submerged. Died. Zephyr frowned. Impossible, Sengoku said in a deep voice, this guy is not that fragile yet. It's impossible to kill him with a single move, but he is not a capable person and is not afraid of the sea, but I can't get into the water to check. I go. Zephyr responded with a puff and jumped into the sea where the earth was cracked, but after a while, there was a rumbling sound of fighting in the big pit water. The Redhair was, as Sengoku said, not dead at all, as the 5 emperors. 1. How could he be killed by 1 move? Sengoku was fully alert on the shore. 2 huge water jets shot into the sky from the bottom of the water, and 2 figures returned to the desert island. It was Redhead and Zephyr. They were wet, but they did not suffer any fatal injuries. Good guy, you have a good knife. Zephyr glanced at the obvious knife marks on his right arm. If he hadn't used new technology materials from the science department when he repaired his right arm this time, the Redhair had just made a fierce stab in the water. Maybe it was just like Ronan before. His arm was cut open. Your robotic arm is also very powerful. The Redhair glanced at the opponent's robotic arm with fear. The weapon power of this arm is not low, and it can be used freely even in the sea. Together with the powerful power of Zephyr itself, it is generally the sea. The thief can never hold on to a few tricks, Sengoku. Zephyr glanced at Sengoku. Let's go all out together. Haki is fully open, and quickly takes this guy down. If he drags him down and waits for others to help us, it won't be easy for us to leave. Good. Observation Haki is on. Armament Haki, come on. Advertisement. Seeing this, the Redhair did not show weakness. Open Conqueror's Haki, open Armament Haki. Rumble. Bang bang bang. Hey, that's not necessarily true. This is impossible. What? Why did you suddenly return to the peak? Not only did your physical strength return to the peak, but even the mental state returned to the way it was before the battle? At this moment, 2 Marine Vice Admiral of the 2 major marine fleets are leading the fleet to pursue Redhair pirates. Although Redhair pirates are fighting and retreating, they are not far away from this sea area because their captain Shanks is still here. Fighting with Marine Admiral on a deserted island in the sea, how can it be possible to abandon the leader and run away? Zephyr and Sengoku's complexion changed drastically, looking at the Redhair returning to peak state in disbelief, and their faces were flies like nausea. As he said, the red-haired eyes looked at the two with a strange color, and his left hand slightly touched the position of the pocket. The Redhair laughed, and took out 2 bottles of potions from his pockets. After opening them, they drank them directly. Then with a bang, the whole body suddenly exploded, as if the god of war descended to the world, and instantly recovered to its peak state. Suddenly, the battle on the desert island became more intense. The battle between the three even cut off the entire desert island by 1 layer. There were pits and pits everywhere, and the desert island of more than 10 square kilometers was covered only 7 or 8 square kilometers left for the trio. You have no strength to fight anymore? Zephyr gasped, laughed and looked at the Redhair. We are 2 people, 1 by 1, and we can wear you out of combat power. So, you still don't surrender, NS? How do you fight this? Even if both of us are not physically strong enough, but you are the same. In this situation, you are at a greater disadvantage. No way. As a result, Redhair pirates, who could not escape, went crazy completely, and fought fiercely with the Marine fleet. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Sengoku said in a deep voice. The phantom of the big Buddha in the sky behind him has gradually faded, and he is almost unable to hold on, but just like what he said, under the same physical exertion, the Redhair will be bigger. The inferiority of this battle, the ultimate winner of this battle, can only be Marine. On the desert island, the 3 of them were panting and had to stop, facing each other in a triangle. Sengoku and Zephyr stared at the Redhair closely to prevent him from escaping. The Redhair wiped off his sweat, and replied in a deep voice, "Want me to surrender? It's impossible. You don't have much strength anymore, right?" Chapter 132 The world is shocked. Marine is horrified. After the Redhair drank the stamina potions and psychotropic potions, the battle was basically over. The Redhair, whose fighting power returned to its heyday, completely crushed the 2 Marine Admirals and beat them down. It was really a bruised nose and a swollen face. If it were not for the 2 people to resist, but just 1 person, there must be an admiral buried here on this desert island today. Fortunately, the 2 admiral who Marine deal with the Redhair this time are 2 admiral, and the 2 are united. After finally resisting the fierce onslaught of the Redhair, the 2 fleets that had been fighting against the Redhair pirates also got news and hurriedly came to support the 2 admirals. Redhead also had no way to kill 2 admirals under the protection of 2 huge fleets, let alone catch them. So, in the horrified eyes of Vice Admiral, the 2 team leaders, the Redhair safely boarded the pirate ship and left, leaving behind a group of Marine generals with extremely ugly faces and a large number of Marines. This battle also completely detonated the public opinion of the world. Countless people marveled at the power of Redhair. He was worthy of being one of the 5 emperors. They were able to fight 2 Marine admirals alone. Not only did they fail to lose the wind, they also defeated the 2 admirals in the end. This battle made everyone understand that there is no easy way to become the 5 emperors. Yes, to say the previous words, the people of the world really don't think this red-haired Shanks who suddenly became one of the 5 emperors is who, even if he was a trainee crew on Roger's ship. As for the 5 emperors, Ronan is the most famous. There is no doubt that Ronan's strength will not be questioned by the people all over the world. Among the other 4, 3 have been in the New World all year round, and even in Rock's pirate, Rock's capable officers, powerful and prestigious, only the Redhair was questioned. Now, there are no doubters. The people didn't question it anymore, but Marine's senior officials got terrible news from Sengoku and Zephyr. What? Although the people of Kong are still in Marineford, they have been paying close attention to the Battle of New World. After all, this is a major event related to the situation of the whole world. When I received a call from New World, I heard what Sengoku personally said, was shocked. After drinking 2 bottles of potions, his strength returned to peak state. His physical strength and mental state were all restored? Advertisement, yes. Sengoku said in a deep voice. However, despite the fact that there are potions, his strength should not be underestimated. Under the siege of Zephyr and I, he can still support the undefeated. The strength of this Shanks is indeed terrifying. Yeah. Kong nodded in response. This guy really can't be underestimated, but I am more concerned about what is going on with the 2 bottles of potions. The healing potions do have such an effect, but isn't it that exaggerated? Also, he only bought 1 bottle at the auction before. What's the matter with the other bottle? Did he get it from a few other people? Sengoku said puzzledly. He hasn't figured out a problem until now. Even if he got a bottle of healing potion from someone else, why should Redhead drink 2 bottles at a time? Impossible. Kong shook his head. Although their 5 emperors have a good relationship, can such an expensive thing be used by others at will? Buy it? Why can he foresee in advance that you will deal with him alone? And he why drink 2 bottles at a time? So, I feel that what he is drinking is not any healing potions, but other potions. Potions that can instantly restore the peak of combat power. Kong defined it. Yes, there is only this possibility. Sengoku nodded, affirming Kong's opinion. The main problem is that if it is a healing potion, he does not need to drink 2 bottles at a time. This is too wasteful. This kind of precious potion that can instantly heal a huge injury can't be used like this with money. Speaking of medicine, Ronan is one of the 5 emperors. What do you mean? Kong moved in his heart, thinking of something. Yes, I suspect that the problem lies with Ronan. Sengoku said in a deep voice, as the source of these magical potions, he definitely has something to do with the 2 bottles of potions that Redhair drank this time. The 2 bottles of potions should not be the same, but 2 different potions, they can be consumed separately. His physical and mental state instantly returned to its peak state. Although this kind of thing is also precious, it cannot be compared with the healing potion. Even so, it is also a great potion. It can even determine the outcome of a war at a critical juncture, just like our action against Redhair this time. Advertisement. Kong sighed. Ronan, it's him again. Why is he everywhere? Obviously people are not in New World, but the key battle of New World's war was lost because of him. It is damn it. Kong slapped the table bitterly. The 5 elders sighed. I have been told, the victory of this war is very important, and he is willing to separate 3 bottles of healing potions for you to use, and it should be able to use it in a few days. Deliver it, next time, you must pay attention and you must not lose again. Okay, please don't worry, Marshal. When he heard that Kong had successfully moved the 5 elders, he was willing to separate 3 bottles of healing potions. Sengoku immediately became excited. You know, they know that the Whitebeard and others on the opposite side each have a healing potion as a trump card, this FK. The injury was severe after the last hit, and after a bottle of potion, it returned to normal. I was injured on my own side. How can I hit it? Therefore, before sending the troops, he proposed to Kong that he wanted 5 elders to provide the support of the healing potions. 5 elders has been evasive. In fact, it is not that 5 elders is unwilling, but 5 bottles of therapeutic drugs. 2 bottles have been sent to the scientific department for research. I hope that the secrets of this drug can be analyzed, and it is best to be able to do it by yourself. Manufacture and mass produce heaven-defying drugs such as therapeutic agents, and the world government will rule the world with great stability. 2 bottles have arrived in the science department, and there are 3 remaining bottles of healing potions. You Marine needs 3 bottles. The whole package is round. How can you make 5 elders happy, not to mention the celestial dragons behind 5 elders, the distribution plan of the healing potions? It's not that 5 elders can call the shots. But in the end, those celestial dragons still agreed to Marine's request. After all, this war is too important, it is related to the stability of their rule, and the necessary efforts should be made. Besides, aren't there 2 more bottles under study? Celestial dragons have given a dead order to the science department, and the medicine must be researched out. Vegapunk is very worried about this. Chapter 133. 1 year later, Pluton was born. Compared with the chaotic battle situation of New World, Ronan, who lives in the water capital, has a better life. If you have nothing to do, you can watch the war situation in New World through the live channel of Morgan's. Other times, either go shopping with the girls, or go to the Tom shipyard to check Pluton's manufacturing progress. Speaking of Pluton, it has been nearly half a year since Ronan and his team came to the City of Water. Due to Ronan's strong financial support, there is no shortage of materials for Pluton's manufacturing materials, shipsmiths and other manufacturing personnel. It is also the responsibility of the top craftsmen in the Tom shipyard, and the manufacturing work is proceeding very smoothly. At present, it is completely possible to manufacture Pluton within a year. At this time, the energy issue of Pluton was also put on the agenda, and Tom again talked about it with Ronan. Ronan also attaches great importance to this issue. The energy issue is very important. Ronan decided to imitate Enel and use Thunderfruit's lightning power as a means of supplying energy. This is also a very powerful source of energy. Currently Thunderfruit is in hand and lacks. It's just a person who controls Thunderfruit. Ronan thought for a while and decided to give Thunderfruit to Dana. Dana is now fully integrated into the team. After months of mutual understanding, both Ronan and the other girls in the team are very satisfied with Dana and have been recognized by all partners. Therefore, Ronan directly handed Thunderfruit to Dana to use, and handed over the energy supply and maintenance and inspection of the ship in the future to her. After all, she was the only boatman in the team. The power of Thunderfruit is very powerful, so Dana is equivalent to instantly changing from an ordinary girl to a powerful demon fruit power that can even be ranked top in the world. Although the development level of Thunderfruit, the use proficiency is still very low, but in the future, he will gradually grow up to be a member of the top powerhouse. After the initial excitement, Dana also adapted to her identity as a capable person. She practiced the use of fruit abilities whenever she had time to strengthen her combat effectiveness, and at the same time practiced using Thunderfruit's ability to charge Pluton. There is a special energy storage device on the Pluton. It is impossible for Dana to squat inside the ship to provide energy to the ship, right? Dana only needs to store energy for the energy storage device at regular intervals to provide a long-term Pluton sailing endurance. Specifically, about 1 charge can provide about a week of continuous sailing, and it can store a week of continuous energy consumption. The construction of energy storage equipment is indeed a very difficult task, but it is still manufactured by Tom. Tom's ability can be seen from this, and he has such skills. He deserves to be a top master craftsman. However, this is only the use of energy reserves under normal circumstances. If there is a battle, the Pluton's main gun can consume the energy reserves of a normal day after a shot. Of course, the power of the main gun is also very terrifying. A small island, it is really nothing to say, worthy of the name of ancient weapon. Advertisement. In other words, 1 week's energy reserve is only enough for the main Pluton guns and the 7 guns of Pluton's Wrath. After the attack, Pluton is stopped and can only sail on the sails, and can no longer use energy to drive fast sailing. Even so, the power of Pluton still shocks everyone. Let alone the main gun, it is so powerful that it is terrifying. Its navigational ability alone crushes almost all ships. When other ships can only sail on sails, Pluton can already sail mechanically by consuming energy. The speed of sailing is not only 1 or 2 times faster than normal sailing speed, but 3 or 4 times, 5 or 6 times, and sailing against the wind is even simpler. Incomparable. This is Pluton. Several months later, Pluton was finally completed and the launch test began. Ronan and his party all boarded the ship for a trial voyage. Tom and others were also on the ship. The ship is huge and can accommodate nearly 8,000 people. Even in an emergency, it can force 2,000 people aboard. There are many on board. Facilities, hundreds of cabins, gym, library, etc. Even little garden, swimming pools have several. Tom was the person in charge of this trial. He was excited when he saw the Pluton built from scratch in his own hands. He stood at the bow and directed the shipyard's craftsmen to carefully check the ship's operation. "How is the energy reserve room?" Tom asked. "There is no problem," one of the ship's craftsmen replied loudly. "What about other aspects?" "No problem, we have checked it many times." Hearing the words, Tom nodded in satisfaction. "Well, ready to test sail." When Tom was in charge of the sea trial, Ronan and his team were also wandering around the internal facilities of this Pluton. While looking at the various facilities, they smiled with satisfaction. The other girls were also very satisfied with the facilities inside the Pluton. There are too many facilities. It's like a small city that can move on the sea. If more than a dozen storage rooms are filled with various materials, they can sail on the ocean for several months without docking. A few years, of course. This is in the case of a small number of people. If it is full of nearly 1,000 people, it will not last so long, and it will be almost half a month. However, Ronan, the Traveler Pirate Group, has only 3 or 2 cats in total, and there are not so many crew members, so there is no need to worry about these problems. This ship is really too big. Robin looked around, and said happily. It's almost like living in a city. There is even a game room, as well as a gym and a library. Advertisement, yeah, the facilities are really complete. There are 3 kitchens alone, all of which are very huge. Karuman also said happily. She also looked at the 3 large kitchens just now, and all the kitchen utensils in them are. It is very complete, but she is the only cook on the boat. It always feels a bit too laborious to use such a large kitchen. In the future, I have to find opportunities for the captain to recruit more crew members who can cook, and I can also find opportunities to collect some good culinary talents. Disciple. Thank you, Ronan. I didn't expect you to equip me and Robin with a huge archaeological laboratory. Orovia is also very happy. The most happy thing on this ship is the library, and it is specially configured for her and Robin. In her archaeological laboratory, all kinds of archaeological tools are also very complete, so she can't help but feel unhappy. It's nothing, such a big ship, there are so many cabins, hundreds of them, it would be a waste if it is not fully equipped. Ronan said with a smile, even so, there are still many cabins empty. I will find opportunities to make up for it later. Let's do it all, you can bring up any good ideas in the future. Okay. Elena immediately clapped her hands happily. I suggest that if there is a chance in the future, we can recruit some navigators to join our pirate group, or share my work, so as to better provide us with a safe sailing. It's a good idea, you can look for it if you have a chance, but it still needs everyone's approval, Ronan nodded. There are also chefs. With 3 kitchens so big, it's too hard for me to work alone. I want to recruit some disciples. Karuman immediately brought out his previous thoughts. No problem. Ronan waved his hand. You can go to some big restaurants when you have time to see if there is a suitable chef, or apprentice, or whatever you think is suitable, you can try to find it. Then, can I find some boatsmiths? Dana asked softly. Of course. The others nodded, and Ronan said, for such a big boat, you are a boatman. If something goes wrong and you want to fix it, it may take a lot of time. It does require more boatmen. It's up to you. Okay. Thank you, Captain. Dana nodded happily. At this moment, the voice of a shipmaker from the Tom shipyard came from outside. Mr. Ronan, Mr. Tom wants you to come to the deck. The ship has left the port and is about to sail to the destination at full speed for the test firing of the main gun. Test. Okay, here we come. Upon hearing this, Ronan's eyes lit up. He had been looking forward to the power of Pluton's main gun for a long time. Chapter 134 Pluton's Fury, sinking the island in one shot. Mr. Ronan, have you named this ship? On the deck, a group of people stood in the bow position, watching the waves in the distance. Tom turned his head and asked Ronan. In terms of name, how about calling it the Voyager? Ronan thought for a while and said, turning his head to look at the other crew members and asking them what they thought. The Voyager? It's good, let's call it this name. The girls thought about it, although there is nothing Haki by this name, but the power of Pluton is here, and there is no need for a name to set off. Okay, let's call the Voyager. Ronan smiled and said, this name, like an aircraft in the real world in the past life. Ronan also has high hopes for this Pluton, and this name is also correspond to the Traveler Pirate Group. Traveler, a good name, Tom also said with a smile. It just so happens that your pirate group is called Traveler, and the ship is called Traveler, too. After a while, the Voyager traveled on the waves and came to a sea area far from the water capital. On this sea area, there is a deserted island. There are no large creatures on the island, and it is a pure desert island, which is why Tom chose here as the test gun. This is a deserted island. Although it is not large in size, it is a small island and is considered suitable for this main gun test. As Tom said, he ordered to start preparations. After a while, the preparations were completed. In terms of energy, Dana had already been charged at the port. Otherwise, the Voyager would not come here so quickly, and there would be no use of spare parts at all. Sails, yes, The Voyager can not only use energy to sail, but also can use sails to prevent the energy from being shut down due to some reasons that cannot be recharged in time. With the sails, it can also be used as a backup for travel. Yamato's sails are very large. Yamato has 4 large main sails with 6 small secondary sails. After preparations were made, Tom gave Ronan the authority to order the firing, and Ronan ordered the firing. Advertisement, Captain Ronan, you can order the cannon. Tom looked at Ronan and said. The others around were also watching him, excitedly preparing to watch Pluton's main gun. Whether Pluton's fury is really as terrifying as the legend. Good. Ronan took a deep breath, then shouted in a deep voice. Fire. The sound fell, and it was transmitted to the main gun control room through a device specially used to transmit commands. In the main gun control room, Dina was also here. This time, she was responsible for the main gun control. As soon as he heard Ronan issue it the command to fire, immediately pressed the fire button in his hand. Afterwards, the electric light was secretly transmitted in the main gun control room, gathered inside the main gun, and a ball of terror energy flashing with electric light flew out of the main gun barrel. The entire Voyager's hull shook violently, and everyone standing on the bow deck saw only a flash of lightning, and then the target desert island rang with a loud noise. Over the entire island, a huge mushroom cloud rose up. Below, the sea roared and rolled, and the entire island had disappeared. Only the mushroom cloud rising in the sky. After a long time, the mushroom cloud gradually dissipated, and a large amount of dust was scattered into the sea. This horrible scene completely shocked everyone watching. What a terrifying power. Irina looked at the scene in shock, with a stunned expression. Yes, if this gun goes down, an island is gone. Karuman also nodded, and said in horror. If it hits a ship or hits a coastal city, then what a terrible casualty it will cause. The power is indeed great. Ronan also nodded and smiled at the corner of his mouth. We don't necessarily use the main artillery against the city, but with such a powerful weapon, we can deter the younger generation. Not bad. Tom was also shocked by the power of Pluton's main gun, and he especially agreed with Ronan's words. This kind of weapon is mainly used to deter the enemy. It does not necessarily need to be used. Just knowing that you have this weapon is enough. Shocked those guys. Pluton. It really deserves to be the legendary ancient weapon. The other boat craftsmen at Tom's shipyard who participated in the manufacture of the ship were all amazed. They also don't know how powerful it is, but now, they have seen it, and they all know how terrifying the power of its main gun is. After everyone was amazed, Tom began to take people to inspect the ship, mainly to check the situation in the main gun control room to see if there was any damage to the ship after the main gun bombardment. Under inspection, the ship was intact, and the main gun bombardment did not cause any damage to the ship. Any major damage, only slight damage to the barrel of the main gun due to high energy bombardment, is normal damage. There is no major problem, and the gun can be fired again after cooling down. Advertisement. The material of the main gun barrel is a kind of high-temperature resistant material. However, the high energy condensing of lightning power still caused slight damage to the barrel. The problem is not big. Now this material can fully support the main artillery bombardment more than 100 times, as long as the interval between the cannons should be more than 10 minutes. If the limit bombardment is carried out, the gun barrels will be completely damaged by the continuous rapid bombardment of 10 cannons. Tom talked to Ronan and Dana about the gun barrel. This is not a big problem at all. Ronan nodded and said, the gun barrel needs to be replaced after 100 shelling. This situation is completely within the acceptable range. Who can let me fire 100 times? Ha ha ha, that's right. Judging from the power of the Pluton's main gun, 100 bombardments, even the large islands are gone. Tom laughed. The main gun test was completed, and everyone began to return. The Voyager quickly returned to the internal port of Tom's shipyard. The huge hull stood in the port, giving people a sense of horror and oppression. The manufacturing of Pluton is completed, and the time that Ronan and his team stay in the water city is basically over. After such a long stay, Ronan has not checked in a few times, except for occasionally going out to some small islands close to the water city. After signing in, I didn't get a few decent rewards, just some common potions and some items that Ronan didn't like. Although Ronan has continuously improved his own strength through his own practice during this year, this improvement has been much slower than before. He still needs to sign in to those famous large islands and get better rewards. Only by constantly signing in and getting rewards can he improve his strength faster. Ronan has not forgotten that now the two-party war in New World does not seem to have much to do with him, but as one of the 5 emperors, the world government will never turn a blind eye. Even the world government will regard itself as a thorn in the eye. The feud that killed the 4 celestial dragons a year ago was ended, and the two sides will inevitably have a battle. Ronan is very wary of the Yim who is hidden behind the scenes of the world government. Even if he now has Pluton, he must not underestimate Yim. After all, he might have Uranus in his hands. But the first of the 3 ancient weapons, Wei Neng, is absolutely very strong. Chapter 135. Ronan's Trend. Secret Meeting. Ronan's movements are the focus of the world's attention. The world government, naval headquarters, the major forces of the New World, as well as the major forces and kingdoms of the 4 major sea areas, are all paying attention to Ronan's movements. You know, during this year, the New World Wars continued, and the Marine forces and Shichibukai forces under the world government continued to war with the New World 4 emperors. The two sides have been in contact with each other, and they have been fighting for nearly a year. There were losses and losses, mainly in various local wars. Both sides seemed to be restraining or fearful of something, and no full-scale war broke out. The four emperors know that Marine has a strong background, with the support of the world government and the strong support of countless franchising countries. The new force is constantly growing, and it is impossible to defeat the opponent at one time, so they dragged on and developed their own strength. As for Marine, there are also areas of fear. Among other things, what Marine is most worried about is the potions in the hands of the four emperors. Speaking of this potion, it really made Marine hate Ronan. After a year of investigation, they have figured out the two potions Ronan supported four emperors, physical potion and psychotropic potion. There have been many times when Marine gathered forces to besiege a certain person, and when the opponent was about to win the final victory, the opponent drank the potion and instantly turned over, which almost made the Marine Admiral blow their lungs. They are angry, not only the four emperors, but also Ronan. Although Ronan himself is not in New World, the medicine he supports has caused a headache for Marine, so they are extremely concerned about Ronan's movements. After the CP organizers lurking in the Water City came news that Ronan had left the Water City, Marine immediately became nervous and stopped confronting the four emperors in New World, but turned around to consolidate his presence. The forces of New World, and dispatched part of the fleet back to Marineford. Kong even took the Crane staff to Marijoy to participate in a secret meeting hosted by 5 elders. Advertisement: the four emperors of New World, because of this situation, had time to relax and repair, and called Ronan to communicate and thank Ronan for his support twice during the year, the first time he supported it. 5 billion Baileys plus 2 potions, and the second time, when a huge war broke out half a year ago, Ronan once again provided potion support. Physical potions and psychotropic potions each provided 10 bottles, so the four emperors have a huge advantage in the war. It can be said that the four emperors were able to withstand the attacks of Marine's several large fleets and Shichibukai's huge force. Ronan played a huge role. The four were very grateful for Ronan's support. The relationship between the 5 emperors has been greatly improved in 1 year. According to the news we got, Ronan and his party have left the water capital, and the current trend is under our control. Oh, that's great. Hearing this, the CP organization leader's eyes lit up. He is very curious about this bottle of medicine that can increase lifespan for 100 years. If this medicine is not too precious, even Lord Yim was shocked. He would have to find a way to get it. Although he might not be able to win the Celestial Dragon's family in the end, it is also a hope. Now when I hear 5 elders' words, my heart is suddenly full. Looking forward to it, I hope that Vegapunk will be able to develop imitation longevity medicine sooner. Even if the effect is not good, it will be fine. It is very good that it can increase the lifespan of decades. One of the 5 elders said in a deep voice, "In New World, the war between Marine and Shichibukai's army and the 4 emperors has been fought for a year. During this year, we have had an absolute advantage many times, but every time we think about it. When you want to seize the opportunity to completely maim a force, there will be a huge advantage that physical potions and psychotropic potions have on them, and they will come back in an instant. I am fed up with this situation. Although this Ronan is not in New World, he the medicine of the New World keeps the situation in New World out of our control. Yes. This secret meeting is to discuss things about Ronan and how to deal with him. Can only treat some minor skin injuries?" The leader of the CP organization was a middle-aged man in a black suit. At this moment, under the sign of 5 elders, he was the first to speak. Upon hearing this, the staff of Kong and Crane also turned their eyes to 5 elders. Advertisement: Ronan and his entourage left the water capital and headed to the next stop. The 4 emperors welcomed this and hoped that Ronan and his entourage could reach New World as soon as possible and jointly rule the vast territory of New World. Vegapunk has brought a large number of researchers to study, but the therapeutic agent is too weird. He can't research and replicate it in a short time. The best results so far are just based on the treatment potion has developed a treatment potion that can simply heal some skin injuries. I have already asked the scientific department to mass-produce this potion, which can be supplied to the Marines in the future. It is still effective for minor injuries. The tall and thin 5 elders spoke. Master 5 elders summoned us for this meeting. Are you planning to do something against Ronan? It's already pretty good. Ronan will put this precious potion out for auction, thinking about it, knowing that this potion is difficult to replicate, otherwise, would he let us all the world government participate in that auction? Gao Shou 5 elders explained said. Furthermore, Vegapunk is also continuing to research, and even the extremely precious bottle of longevity potion. Lord Yim personally issued an order to dismiss the request of the Celestial Dragon's family and let Vegapunk conduct research. Once the research is successful in the future, not to mention that it can be as powerful as the original longevity medicine. Even if it only increases the lifespan of more than 10 or 20 years, it is a very useful medicine. Everyone will have a share by then. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Speaking of pharmacy, I want to ask, how has the scientific department been doing research on pharmacy over the past year? Next to Kong, the staff of Crane suddenly asked. Vegapunk has been researching therapeutic medicaments, right? Have you found any results? Not bad, another 5 elders also said. This Ronan is too damn it, and he keeps providing potions to New World. Although this potion is precious, it cannot be used by ordinary pirates, but it is for those big pirates. Using it, the effect is so good. Compared with our high-level combat power, even with Shichibukai, we can't beat the opponent. Marijoy, in a majestic hall, 5 elders sits on top. Kong and Crane staff and a top leader of the CP organization also participated in this secret meeting. Upon hearing this, everyone else was a little disappointed. You should know that Ronan's medicines can cure serious injuries and diseases that have accumulated for many years. The medicines developed by this scientific department are comparable to medicines. The difference between heaven and earth is too big. Ronan said that he is not in a hurry to go to New World right away. The first purpose of the Traveler Pirates is not New World. New World is the final destination. He will go all the way, travel everywhere, and look for the text of the history. The hidden historical truth. Ronan and his entourage, driving the Voyager, left the City of Water, and the next stop was to go to Saboti Archipelago, and pass the Fishman Island to New World. On this way, he had to pass through the major islands and sign in. To get rewards, you can't waste the opportunity to sign in. At this time, Marijoy started a secret meeting against Ronan. Chapter 136 The Big Plan, Kill Ronan. Well, let's get back to business, let's talk about dealing with Ronan. Chunky Five Elders said in a deep voice. For Ronan, we had made a decision a year ago and we must find a way to get rid of him. However, there is no one-size-fits-all solution on how to get rid of him without fail. After all, this guy is too strong, even Garp and Zephyr can't beat him together, let alone kill him. This is indeed a tricky question. The leader of the CP organization also nodded. This guy is difficult to deal with. Even the top combat power of Naval Headquarters has failed. Then our CP organization will probably only fail. So is there any way to guarantee that he will be killed successfully? Are you going to let Master Yim take the shot himself? Huh, what do you want? Let Lord Yim take the shot himself. Upon hearing this, 5 elders all glared at him. What is Ronan? Can I be qualified to let Master Yi take the shot himself? But if Master Yim doesn't take action, who can guarantee that he can defeat him? The CP organization leader also knew that what he said was a bit wrong, but he couldn't think of any other way to kill Ronan. Ronan's strength is strong. There is no doubt about it, but no matter how strong he is only a person. We can kill him by other means. At this time, another tall and sturdy 5 elders said in a deep voice. We have already had an idea before. The science department will provide a newly developed high-power artillery, mounted on the bow, directly against Ronan. The ship he was in bombed, leaving him dead under this kind of firepower. When Kong heard this idea, he frowned. It's not like this happened before. There was once a fleet of artillery covering and attacking Ronan's ship, but he was able to fly and avoid such an attack, and his personal strength was not that ordinary artillery shells could bombard. Killed. So, our newly developed artillery is different from ordinary artillery. 5 elders said. This is a brand new artillery that is far more powerful than ordinary artillery, and even more powerful than the main artillery of some top ships. We have ordered to step up production. At that time, a large number of large warships will be deployed. Then we will only find a good opportunity. At the moment when Ronan is impatient, the bombardment with all firepower broke out. He absolutely can't react. Ha ha ha, under that terrifying firepower, let alone a ship, even an island can be shattered. Yes, this newly developed artillery is completely enough to deal with Ronan. Advertisement and other 5 elders nodded in agreement. He had seen the test of the newly developed artillery. The power is indeed very powerful. One shot can smash a medium-sized warship, even a large warship can be smashed with one shot. Half a hull, such a terrifying artillery, he didn't believe it and couldn't deal with Ronan. With this kind of firepower coverage attack composed of artillery, no one in this world can resist it. The other 5 elders also nodded with a smile. Really that amazing? Kong asked quickly in surprise. If this is really so powerful, then after the Marines' major ships are installed in the queue, it will greatly improve Marines' combat capabilities. When facing the various large pirate groups, I don't know how much it will improve. The advantage is definitely not the way it is now. In New World, the pirate group was inextricably fought, and now seeing Ronan in action, he had to retreat most of his troops. Since the 5 elders said it, it must be true. The leader of the CP organization on the side slapped his horse quickly. Marshal Kong, this time you have to arrange it properly and deal with Ronan safely, as long as if you can get rid of Ronan, both the world government and the major franchise countries will benefit from it, and your reputation will also deter countless pirates. Yes, if you can get rid of Ronan this time, I think Master Yim will treat you differently, said a 5 elders meaningfully. If this kind of artillery is really that powerful, then I will definitely not disappoint everyone's expectations of me, let alone the expectations of Master Yim. Kong replied sternly. After a secret meeting ended, the staff of Kong and Crane went to the science department to see what the most powerful artillery was. The latest research. He didn't see it with his own eyes. He didn't quite believe it. Only after seeing it in person would he have confidence. Under this view, Kong was immediately overjoyed and his confidence increased. This type of artillery used a new type of gunpowder to push the shells more powerfully, and the shells of the artillery were no longer solid black balls but filled. A new type of gunpowder is in the shells, and the falling of the shells will produce a powerful explosion. Under the superimposition of the number, dozens of this new type of gunpowder shells exploded, and a small hill was blown up. Kong looked at it. How could he not please? Well, with this new type of artillery, even Ronan can't run away under a large number of coverage attacks, and it can definitely kill him completely. Kong laughed, and immediately left Marijoy contentedly, returned to Marineford, and secretly prepared this big plan for Ronan. Advertisement. On Ronan's side, after leaving the water capital, heading all the way to the destination is the Fishman Island. You need to sign in through Saboti Archipelago. Of course, you also need to sign in through other islands a few times along the way. With the opportunity to sign in, the girls also want to go to the island to play. Orovia and Robin need to go to some islands for archaeology, looking for information in the historical text. A few days later, the ship had just left from an island, and before it had traveled far, Elena came to Ronan to report. Captain, the sea area in the first 2 days is the sea area of Eni's lobby. Are we going to make a detour? Eni's lobby is one of the 3 powerful organizations of the world government. Under normal circumstances, no pirate group dares to pass there, all or choose a detour. Which way to detour? Ronan heard the words and said calmly, just follow the normal sailing route. There is no need to detour. There is no one who can make us detour. But what if Marine sends a fleet to drive us away? Irina said worriedly. She was not afraid that Marine had the courage to take action on her own ship. Marine did not suffer too much from Ronan. Now where is the courage to deal with Ronan? They dare to expel us, then let them taste Pluton's wrath. Ronan waved his hand and said directly, it depends on whether they have the courage. All right. When Irina heard this, she could only nod her head, thinking in her heart, I wonder if those Marines dared to come. At the same time, Eni's lobby also received news. Ronan and his party did not detour, but came directly in the direction of Eni's lobby, and immediately notified Marie-Joy and Marineford of the news. However, Marie-Joy and Marineford were moved in their hearts. This is not a coincidence. Jungjo couldn't find a good opportunity, and here comes it. As a result, a huge fleet of large warships came towards the Eni's lobby. These large warships were all loaded with a large number of new artillery. Can Ronango be killed here? This is it. Chapter 137. The Fleet's Resistance, Alternate Admiral. The mobilization of a large number of fleets on Marine is very secretive. Even if the number is huge, it has not attracted the attention of others. Here is Eni's lobby, not too far from Marineford. The waters here have always been under Marine's control, between Marineford and Eni's lobby. In the sea area, there are already a lot of Marine fleets that come and go every day. This action is very important. Needless to say, the control of intelligence is not to mention. Let alone Ronan and his party, even the 4 emperors did not have this. What information to speak of? Whether it is 5 elders or Kong, they are extremely solemn to this action, and want to finish their work and solve Ronan completely here. When the Marine fleet arrived at Eni's lobby, Ronan and his team also arrived at the sea area where Eni's lobby was located, and wanted to go directly through the sea area to the sea area of Sabodi Archipelago. Along the way, Ronan did not find a fleet-destroying Voyager. He thought that the opponent would not come, but on this day, he encountered the Marine fleet that was intercepting. It's not good, Captain Ronan. There are a lot of Marine fleets blocking the way on the sea ahead, blocking our direction. Yelena ran to Ronan and shouted with a panicked look. Oh, Marine fleet? They are so brave, Ronan said coldly. People had already walked towards the bow and looked up. Sure enough, he saw the dark Marine fleet blocking the sea in front. So many warships, all of them are large warships. These guys, are you planning to do it on me? What should I do, Captain? Elena followed Ronan and asked eagerly. They have too many warships. Although our ships are powerful, there are so many warships on the other side. If we really fight. Do not be afraid. Ronan smiled calmly. I'm here, it's okay. Where are the others? Advertisement. Ronan turned his head and took a look. There were only 2 of them on the deck. When the other people didn't know about the warship blocking the way, the first thing Irina did after seeing the warship blocking the way was to notify herself. They should be in the cabin, I'll call them over. Elena said quickly, and then ran away quickly, and ran directly to the rudder where she was at the helm. The ship was so big and there were so many cabins. Even if you know which cabin you live in and want to notify them all, it takes a lot of time, so a special communication device is installed at the rudder. Irina immediately notified other people through the communication device. After informing them of what was happening on the sea, Dana went directly to the main gun control room and energy room, and used the power of Thunderfruit to supplement the consumption of the past few days. After energy, it stands by in the main gun control room. The others, Orovia, Robin, and Karaman came to the deck for the first time after they got the news, and they looked ugly when they saw a black warship on the sea ahead. Ronan, is Marine ready to do it on us? Orovia said in a deep voice. They have increased our rewards a lot before, especially your reward, which was directly increased to 10 billion Baileys, but they have seen that bounty hunters can't deal with you for so long. I have already planned to do it myself. It must be a menacing move, so don't take it lightly, I know. Luo Nanjung nodded. He did not underestimate the opponent, but he would not underestimate himself. With his current strength, regardless of the number of opposing warships, he really wants to fight, and he is definitely not enough to fight alone. Knowing that this year, he was not wasted in vain. Not only did he occasionally go out to sign in on the islands in the water capital, but he also devoted himself to practicing the ancient Qi refining technique. After a year of practice, his realm has improved again. On the first level, the strength is no longer comparable to a year ago. I just said, these guys will definitely not watch us pass Eni's lobby so easily. Robin frowned and said, behind Eni's lobby are Sabodi Archipelago and Marineford. Naval headquarters will definitely not let us get there so easily. Even if we don't threaten Marineford, they won't believe it. They are not afraid that we will attack Marineford, but they don't want us to go to New World so easily. Ronan said calmly, the war in New World lasted for a year, and they have not pleased me if I were to come again. After New World, they even had no chance, therefore, they would choose to do it. In fact, it was in my expectation, but I really did not expect that they would choose to do it here. I thought they would be in Sabodi Archipelago. Or the Fishman Island do it, huh? Oh, since you have done it here, let's do it. I want to see what kind of cards they have that makes them so confident that they can keep me. Huh? They seem to have stopped. Karuman, who had been watching the naval warships, suddenly said at this time, pointing to the sea and pointing to Ronan. Look, they stopped. Really stopped? What do they want to do? The girls were a little curious, wondering why the opposing fleet suddenly stopped at such a distance in front of the Voyager, which was not enough for the artillery bombardment. Is the other party planning to negotiate? Advertisement, leave them alone, Irina, just speed up and rush over, Ronan said coldly. Our Voyager is not an ordinary ship, it just ran into it. Okay. After Irina responded, she directly controlled the ship and rushed over. On the Marine Fleet's warships, the largest flagship, a dignified man was looking at the Voyager. This is Ronan's new ship. Yes, Commander sir. A staff officer next to him replied. This ship was built by Tom's shipyard for Ronan. The ship is very large. The main power is not the sail, but relies on a kind of energy for propulsion. We don't know the specific parameters. It's just that the hull is a little bigger, don't worry about him. The commander waved his hand and issued an order directly. The other party did not slow down. Obviously, he was not surprised by the number of our warships. Isn't it, Ronan? You are so bold, but since you are looking for death, don't blame me for the cruelty. As the commander spoke, a fierce smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. This action was specifically negotiated from Marshal Kong through Marijuiz's relationship. Sengoku Admiral still wants to grab it, but unfortunately, in the end, it fell on me. As long as I can kill Ronan this time, I will become a new marine hero, a marine hero more famous than Garp. Your lord himself will kill Ronan, and the whole world will extol your prestige. The staff next to him immediately patted his horse. Well, your benefits will definitely be indispensable then. The commander looked at the staff officer and nodded with a smile. He himself is vice admiral, his strength is not weak, his status is not bad, even like Akainu Kizaru and others, he is an admiral candidate. As long as this task can be successfully completed, Ronan will solve the major problems of the world government and be competent for admiral. It's not a problem at all, and it's also not a problem to become a marine hero respected by the world. Therefore, he used his family's business relationship for many years, and contacted 5 elders in a celestial dragon's family, and took down the commander of the operation. He believes that there is a new type of artillery in his hand. What is the devil's son Ronan? Will definitely be shattered. Chapter 138 Cannon Coverage. Pluton's Fury. Your Excellency, Ronan's ship is very fast. The staff member watched the Voyager approach quickly with a frown, and said, not only did he not slow down, but he speeded up the voyage towards us. What should we do now? It's really arrogant, the commander said with disdain. When the order is passed down, I will be refreshed. As long as we reach the range of our artillery attack, we will gather all the artillery in the previous exercise and attack together, with comprehensive coverage. Shock, blast me this ship into dregs all at once, and I want Ronan to be crushed to pieces and die without a place to be buried. Yes, your commander. The staff officer immediately took the order and passed the commander's order to all the warships. Not long after, Ronan's ship entered the attack range of all warships. Under unified coordination, all warships mobilized their artillery to aim at the Voyager, and decisively started a coverage attack towards the Voyager. Rumble. Rumble. Rumbling. The sound of countless earth-shaking artillery sounded, and huge cannonballs rose into the sky, smashing in the direction of Voyager. That power, there was a feeling of ruining the world. On the Voyager, Ronan's figure has floated into the air, floating expressionlessly in the sky above the Voyager, his sword chi humming all over his body, like thousands of birds singing. The innumerable artillery shells that fell from the sky, as long as they fall into the sky above the ship's range, the infinite sword spirit swept out under the Zanpakuto in Ronan's hand, destroying almost all the artillery shells. The gunpowder was filled with smoke, the smell of gunpowder was strong, and even the entire sea area has been shrouded. No wonder you dared to target me. Advertisement. Ronan's mouth was filled with a smile. It turns out that the artillery has been improved, and its power has indeed increased a lot. If my strength is not enough to block these shells, even Pluton will be covered by such terrifying artillery fire. Isn't it completely destroyed? It's a pity that you miscalculated my strength. Over the past year, my strength has increased by more than 1. In the past year, Ronan's strength has increased tremendously, and all aspects of strength are increasing, whether it is skill level, even if he has not signed in too many times, he has improved a lot by virtue of his own training, and he has dealt with the attacks of these shells. Don't be too simple. The calculations of 5 elders in Kong were completely wrong, and the fleet in front of them was about to face Ronan's anger. Dana, the main gun of Pluton's Fury is charged. It's not my style to always be passively beaten. Give them a shot and let them take a good look at what a real artillery attack is. Ronan's voice echoed. On the Voyager, it directly penetrated the hull, blocked the main gun control room, and passed it to Dana's ears. Understand the captain, the charging of the main cannon of Pluton's Fury has begun. Dana replied in a deep voice, and then began to control the equipment, using the abundant energy in the energy room to quickly charge the main gun. In the bow of the Voyager, a huge cannon barrel aimed at the large area of warship formation in the waters ahead. Then, a bang was shot out, and a ball of lightning shining with dazzling brilliance, blasted towards the opponent at extreme speed. Passed. There was a loud bang, and the speed of this lightning ball was too fast, and the warship formation was too late to do any defense, and it could only be hit as soon as the lightning flashed. The lightning ball exploded in the middle of several large warships that were very close. The infinite electric snake flickered back and forth, exploding the hull of the large warship, and also killed the personnel on the warship. One big piece after another. Not good. On the flagship of the warship, the staff officer looked pale. Watching this horrible scene, there was no way at all. This gun was too terrifying. It destroyed 3 large warships with one shot. This is a complete destruction, as well as the surrounding ones. 7 or 8 warships were also affected, with more than half of the casualties. These 7 or 8 warships have completely lost their combat effectiveness. The 3 large warships that were directly destroyed collapsed and all the people on board died. Quickly, report what happened here to the headquarters. Hurry up! The commander shouted immediately, and then hid in the cabin under the protection of a few personal guards, and at the same time ordered the flagship to retreat quickly and let the other warships behind. Com suddenly stopped suddenly, his face in shock and a look of horror. Are you saying that Ronan's ship is ancient weapon Pluton? Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Advertisement: This FK, just a shot, destroyed his 3 large warships and paralyzed 7 or 8 warships. How many warships does he have in total? At the same time, the combat information here was also reported to Naval headquarters. The generals in this department were shocked by this. Com was shocked by the power of Ronan's ship, and slammed the table and roared. Trash, it's really a waste. I said that such an important task can't be given to Andre at all, right? 5 elders in the Celestial Dragon's family still support Andre. This guy, it really is not enough to succeed. Yes, he is going to run away. This shot has destroyed all his confidence. Your Excellency, the most important thing for us now is to figure out why Ronan's ship is so powerful. From the intelligence point of view, this is his main gun and cannot be fired continuously. Even so, such a powerful main gun is a very incredible thing. Look at the huge size of his new ship and this terrifying main gun. I have a bad premonition in my heart, the crane staff said to Kong with a solemn expression. Wouldn't he even have to explain here for a few more shots? Check. Contact the CP organization to thoroughly check all the information about Ronan on this ship. Commander, what should we do now? The staff officer looked like Liushin Wuju. He was really frightened by the Voyager artillery. It is estimated that the flagship will not be able to carry it, and it will definitely be completely destroyed by a single shot. You mean? This, what kind of attack is this? He still has a great future. He doesn't want to really die here. So, run quickly. As for what mission is not completed, he will be sent to a military court after he goes back. It doesn't matter, it's better than dying. It's much stronger here. The commander also looked at this scene in amazement, some unacceptable growl. Damn, what kind of attack is this? Why is it so powerful? What main gun can have such a powerful force? The commander was really scared at this moment. This time he brought a total of more than 30 warships. This gun almost lost 1/3 of the warships in his hand. How can this be fought? All the most powerful ships in history, only Pluton, Crane staff officer said seriously, and his ship can already be called the world's strongest ship, and only Pluton can do it all. Chapter 139 The Power of Pluton. Shocked the world. Ronan's Voyager really shocked the world. In the newspaper the next day, Morgans would certainly not let go of such a breaking news. He has always followed Ronan's movements closely, but it's a pity. In the previous year, he thought that Ronan would participate in the New World battle. As a result, Ronan stayed in the Water City for a year. This disappointed him a bit, but now, Ronan is starting to take action. A reporter was sent to follow, and sure enough, it didn't take long to see such a wonderful battle. After the newspaper went on sale, the news really shocked the people all over the world. What shocked the whole world even more was that the newspaper also wrote a reporter's conjecture about Ronan's ship, and a conjecture about ancient weapon Pluton, which made the whole world. Something that everyone feels scared. Ancient weapon Pluton. God, why does Ronan have such a powerful weapon? Yes, this is ancient weapon, how could he have it? It seems to be said in the newspaper that Ronan has stayed in the Water City for a year and has been in contact with Tom's shipyard. Now that I think about it, he must be building a new ship, and this new ship is this one, Pluton. FK. This Tom's shipyard is so powerful? Can even Pluton be built? Quickly, get out of the way, I'm going to Water Capital, I'm going to find this Tom's shipyard. Why? Do you want to build a Pluton? Ronan, who is so capable, has built it for a year. I don't know how much it cost. Do you have the money to build it? How about no money? If such a news comes out, not only I am interested, but the top pirates, even the world government and naval headquarters will be interested. Then you will have to build the Tom shipyard, money or something, can't you grab it? You are so courageous, haven't you heard of it? Ronan's Pirates of Travelers, but there is an extra boatman who is a disciple of Master Tom. What do you think someone dares to do to Tom shipyard? How? I don't want to live anymore. This. Similar to what these pirates said, when the whole world hears that Ronan's ship may be ancient weapon Pluton, all of them are not calm. There is greed in his eyes. That is Pluton, ancient weapon Pluton, take a look. Ronan's record this time has scared me to death. It really deserves to be Pluton, one of the 3 ancient weapons. The power is amazing. Advertisement: one shot directly destroyed 3 large warships, and at the same time paralyzed another 7 or 8 large warships, completely losing their combat capabilities, and the casualties of the Marines were several thousand. It was invincible, okay? Such a powerful ship, let alone Pluton, even if it's not Pluton, it's not bad. As a result, some great pirates and big powers began to obtain information through various channels, and the situation of Ronan in the City of Water over the past year began to gradually fall into the eyes of these people. What? Ronan spent more than 2 billion Baileys building ships. So much money for one ship. It takes a year to build such a ship? The entire Tom shipyard can only build one ship with all its strength? Can't build more than one at the same time? What? Ronan shipbuilding is the internal price of Tom's shipyard, basically no profit. If an outsider wants to order Pluton, he needs to pay a 1 billion Baileys deposit. After the ship is built, he still needs to pay 3 billion Baileys for the follow-up costs? Slot. So expensive. Start to grab, contact a few other big pirates, and snatch Tom's shipyard. I don't believe that Master Tom is not afraid of death. What? Master Tom's disciple is a member of the Ronan Traveler Pirates group. Cough cough cough. When I didn't say a word, come, arrange the boat, I want to visit Master Tom personally. Above the sea, the big pirates hopped up and down. The first reaction of many big pirates was to snatch them. They were all used to this way to obtain benefits, but after knowing that Ronan crew member Dana was Tom's disciple, he immediately became a disciple. Shrinking his head, his thoughts immediately changed from grabbing to visiting. The speed of face change was almost the speed of light. On the other side, the big pirates of New World have another idea. In the territory of 4 emperors, the 4 emperors gathered together. Recently, the war has stopped, and they have also had a chance to develop steadily. Unexpectedly, Ronan would be so immobile and shocked the world when he moved, the ant said with a sigh. Yeah, I was still wondering before, why he stayed in the City of Water for a year for such a person who couldn't be free, now I understand it. Redhair also sighed. It turned out to be for this, before I thought he was just building an ordinary new ship, and the big deal is about the same as our flagship. Unexpectedly, he built Pluton. Pluton. Whitebeard took a sharp sip of wine. Who can guess? Before Ronan broke out in the battle with Marine, no one in the world could guess that the ship he built was Pluton, right? Advertisement. This, the ghost can guess it. Kaido flipped through Byakugan. This is one of ancient weapon. It has been lost for many years, he actually has this ability. Even Pluton has made it out. I heard about it, that Tom. Shipyards have begun to release information to the outside world. They can accept external orders. The construction cost of a Pluton is 4 billion Baileys. This cost is not low. Of course, for Pluton, the price is actually not high. 4 billion Baileys? My news is that the Pluton made by Ronan only cost more than 2 billion Baileys. The ant frowned. 4 billion Baileys, even for their new world price. For the top pirates, it is a lot of money. Among all the pirates in the world, those who can use the money alone to build Pluton. 9 out of 10 can't do it unless they raise funds to place an order together. However, for the selfish pirates, it is basically impossible to raise funds to build a Pluton, and they can't worry about doing so. Ronan is different. You should also know that Ronan accepted a new crew member at the auction last year, the little girl named Dana, but Tom's disciple, you all know. Otherwise, the current Tom shipyard would have been plundered by those jealous pirates. Whitebeard grinned. Don't say it's the pirates. As soon as the news comes out, if there is no protection from Ronan, it is probably even the world government can't sit still. World government? I suspect that even Ronan can't stun the world government. Didn't you see the naval ships dispatched by naval headquarters stop this time? If it weren't for the appearance of Pluton, I guess Ronan would not be pleased, the ant said in a deep voice. Everyone, we can't be left behind in such a big event. Pluton, who is not jealous, do we really have to wait for the world government to take action and regret it when we take Pluton to deal with us? Charlotte is right. Whitebeard looked around solemnly for a week and glanced at everyone. Everyone, even if we don't think about it for ourselves, just think about the assistance Ronan has given us during this year. We should help. Not to mention, after the relationship with Tom's shipyard and Ronan is established, we can definitely place an order for the construction of Pluton's ships. As for the other pirates, wait until they can come up with the money, talk later. Yes, we should strengthen our ties with Ronan. This time is a good opportunity. Kaido also nodded and said, it just happens to prevent the world government from starting Tom's shipyard. I think so too. The Redhair followed. Just as the ant said, we don't care about it now. Really wait until the world government gets the drawings and information about Pluton inside the Tom shipyard, and use their shipbuilding ability. Think about facing a whole fleet of Pluton in the future. Cough cough cough, that's horrible, it's not something human can resist. Ronan's ship sank 3 large warships in one shot and paralyzed 7 or 8 large warships. Who can resist the power of such a main gun? It is simply not a manpower capable of resisting it. Whitebeard said in a deep voice. Even if it's me, what if I can stop a main gun with all my best? If so few can fire together, I can't stop it. Kaido, can you? I can barely do it. Kaido's mouth twitched, and he just wanted to say that it was okay, but think about the power of Ronan's main gun. If there is really a fleet of Pluton that fires together, it's large. The island can be blown away, and he can't hold it. Blow. You just keep blowing. The ant gave Kaido a white look, and then she made a decision. Since Edward and the Redhair agree, then we have decided so. Let's talk to the outside world. The interests of the 5 emperors should not be violated. Naval headquarters acted on Ronan and acted on our 5 emperors. We will launch an encirclement and suppression of the marine forces in New World. At the same time, we announced that Tom's shipyard will not tolerate any infringement, even the world government. We will send some personnel to station in the water capital for a long time. Don't blame our 5 emperors for being polite. Yeah. At the same time placing an order for Tom's shipyard. Pluton, I really look forward to it. Chapter 140th 4 Emperors announced, Ronan's counterattack. So, an announcement from the New World 4 Emperors spread all over the world. Tom's shipyard, they were covered, plus Ronan, that is, the 5 emperors are all big bosses standing behind Tom's shipyard. Those guys who didn't dare to act openly, and planned to secretly enter the shipyard to steal Pluton's drawings also died down. In this world, people who dare to offend the 5 emperors at the same time, apart from the world government, no one else has the courage. Speaking of world government, 5 elders is also having a headache at the moment. Whether to do something with Tom's shipyard, this is a golden treasure. If Pluton's manufacturing drawings can be obtained from Tom's shipyard, with the power of world government, even it is a ship like Pluton that can also build more than a dozen or 20 ships at the same time. Even if it takes a year to complete, more than a dozen Pluton ships a year are launched, it is also a weapon that can shock the world. This temptation is too great. Not only was 5 elders unable to resist, but even the generals of naval headquarters couldn't resist. Which marine general did not want to own a Pluton as a flagship? Similarly, is there any marine general who is willing to use ordinary warships to compete with Pluton? Isn't it looking for death? After some confidential discussions, the world government decided to take action, and the sooner the better. Riding on the 5 emperors, the Tom shipyard has not been mobilized for defense, and then the Tom shipyard is quickly taken down. Anyway, Marine and 4 emperors are already in the new world. After fighting for a year, Ronan has also provided various support. Coupled with this shelling incident, the 2 sides are already mortal enemies. Why should you be afraid of you? The world government plans to do it. Although Ronan didn't know the news, he could guess it. Captain Ronan, although we repelled the intercepted marine fleet, we also exposed the existence of Pluton. Dana looked at Ronan with some concern. Although the 4 emperors has announced that they will support Tom's shipyard with you, the world government will not give up. I think they will definitely take action against Tom's shipyard. After all, this is about Pluton, an ancient weapon. No one needs such a powerful weapon more than the world government. You are right. Ronan replied calmly. We exposed Pluton's information this time. The world government is the most feared and eager in the world. According to their ideas, such powerful weapons can only be controlled in their hands to help them rule the world, and the master cannot be in the hands of others, the least can be in the hands of the enemy, or the pirate. But, Ronan suddenly twitched at the corner of his mouth, revealing an inexplicable smile. I don't intend to return to the city of waterproofing immediately. Passive defense is not my character. Should we stay in the water forever? Advertisement, this. Then what are you going to do? Dana was taken aback, and asked in a bit of horror. If we don't respond, if there is a problem with the shipyard, teachers and them may not be in great danger to their lives. After all, the world government also needs to be familiar with the shipsmith who made Pluton, but the Pluton drawing is lost, and the marine fleet we face in the future may be composed of Pluton. That's terrible. Don't worry, I won't let this happen. Ronan waved his hand. The 4 emperors has sent some powerful personnel to the water city. There will be no problem in a short time, as long as naval headquarters does not send huge. It's okay if the troops directly attack the city of water. Then, what if they really do that? Dana said. If it were me, in order to get Pluton, even if the water capital is destroyed, I will do it at all, right? They don't have this opportunity. Robin said in a deep voice. Thinking that the dispatch of the fleet to intercept me, after being blasted away by me, will this matter be over? When Dana heard the words, she was a little dumbfounded. Ronan said that, what exactly did she plan to do? She didn't dare to ask, she could only lower her head and didn't speak. Originally, her temper was weak and gentle. This time she came to Ronan eagerly because she was concerned about the Tom shipyard. Now that Ronan said that he had plans, she didn't worry anymore. After Dana left Ronan's cabin, Ronan sat alone in the bedroom, thinking about this. The world government will definitely take action. Needless to say, as a ruler, they will never allow such a powerful thing to be out of their control. They will inevitably take action on the water city. However, as Ronan said, he was so dealt with by the other party and did not react. The world thought that Ronan was good for bullying, so anyone could come and FK him? How can it be? Must fight back. Ronan smiled coldly. Well, after a year of precipitation, how strong I am now, even I myself can't figure it out. I have been wary of the existence of Yim before, so this time, let me have a good time, so I can touch the bottom of his ultimate boss? But, if I do this, I have to take advantage of the 4 emperors. It's not enough to just issue an announcement to shelter the Tom shipyard. Now I plan to directly attack Marineford and Marie-Joy alone? Speaking of which, Uranus. What the hell is it? Ronan muttered, and while returning to his room, he picked up a dumb phone worm and called 4 emperors. Advertisement. Ronan intends to ask for a suitable fruit for the 2 of them, and then, he needs to ask 4 emperors to cooperate with his actions, try his best to contain the power of Marine in New World, even if he is confident in himself. Ronan wants to test I also need to keep some of his whole cards. I really put out his whole cards at Marineford. When I arrived at Marie-Joy, Yim used Uranus to play himself directly, instead of letting things go cold. Ronan glared at Irina, then turned and left. Hey, not yet, what's the matter, Captain? Irina was taken aback. She was looking at the chart at the helm. As a navigator, she has always been the main person in control of the ship. Either she or Dana, the entire ship sailing. The problem is that the 2 of them are responsible. It's a good idea. At present, Ronan himself, Robin, Irina's Lion Fruit, Dana's Thunder Fruit, Karuman and Orovia have no devil fruit abilities in the entire team. They're just ordinary ones. People only. What? Irina looked horrified. What did Captain Ronan plan to do? This is too scary, too shocking. Thinking about it, Ronan got up and walked out, found Elena, and said directly to her, Elena, are we out of the Sea of Eni's lobby now? If you don't need money, you want devil fruit? Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. He has other things to do, such as calling the 4 emperors for some benefits. The money is so much, there are more than tens of billions of Baileys kept in the bank, and they can't be used up at all, unless they are used to rebuild a few Plutons, but there are 3 or 2 kittens in the group of travelers, 1 ship. The ship is too empty. What do you want so many Pluton to do? What are the benefits? What are you still trying to do? Hurry up and do it. Money. Since you haven't left the Eni's lobby waters yet, you don't have to leave in a hurry. Ronan smiled calmly. Turn the rudder, go directly to Eni's lobby, give the island a shot and continue sailing. The next stop, Marineford. Do you declare war directly with the world government?